Alright, I think we should be live. Even got a title today. This is amazing stuff. Alright, so had a couple of upsets yesterday. First game will be Godsent Dignitas. I think that was an upset as well. So let me just find the right. This is what I wanted. Okay, fuck this boop, 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 boop music. Desktop wallpaper. Let me try and find that before we go into the thing. Fuck. I'll be going over Godsent Dignitas first, and then I'll see. I'm like probably NIP Hellraisers and EnVyUs perhaps. Alright, so I think I've found the site. VODs are on, at least they should be now. Why do you think Valve hasn't reverted the op nerf yet? I think they didn't want to make it too powerful, and it's been too long now, everyone's used to it, so it's just like whatever. I think the biggest, like one of the most like useless things with the op nerf is like, I mean from the start, like the kill reward was $100. That just doesn't make any sense. It's like, why? You get 5 kills, you get an ace, and you get $500. You can't even buy like an incendiary with that money. Alright, I don't know, wait, like this is the site for the wallpaper, so I just typed in my res and I found it just looked cool. I have no idea where it's from. Alright, so let's jump into the game. Oh fuck, I forgot. I need this. Open this. And now we should be good. Do you think they should give it quick scoping as in 1.6? I'd like that. I think that's like not OP. I think that's a skill-based thing. Especially if you have to do it like long range and stuff. It's very hard to pull off. I think that's the thing with the op nerf, that like it wasn't, I think a weapon is overpowered if anyone can use it and be good with it, right? And back then you only had a couple of players in the world who were really like ridiculously good with the op, like Kenny, like Guardian. So I don't really think it was that big of an issue. So yeah, I think it would be like just it would be a higher skill ceiling basically with the weapon. Why is nothing happening? Alright. What? Alright, let's see what's wrong with this demo. Is it the coaching rule reversed, or why are the coaches allowed to come? They're not. They just like they stand behind the team. They can only talk in timeouts and warm up and stuff. They can't talk during the rounds. Let me just try and see if like the demo is something's like wrong, or I just need to download it again. Maybe the name is too long. Yeah, I think that's the problem. Godsent stickers. It's weird though when it comes to like, you know, a major qualifier, and then you have, you know, players like Flasha, JW, Pronax, like all these experienced players, former major champions as well. I think that's where they really, you know, where they can really shine. They're not affected as much by pressure as some of the other teams, like who haven't like performed or qualified for the major, like Immortals, even though Immortals are having a good tournament as well. So let's try it now. Please. There we go. I think this should be okay. It's not loud enough for anything. I don't have the exact link for the wallpaper. Why it's not possible to donate? I thought I set that up. I'll have to check that later. Let's see if the bind is working. Of course it's not. So, Godsent on the T side, Dignitas CT. Let's see, like Mirage was like one of the best maps for Dignitas, pretty much. Why do I have all the names as well? I need to figure this shit out. But yeah, this is a bit more like forward setup from Dignitas. It's tricky because close range with the USPs, if you miss like your first shot or first two shots, and there's like a bunch of people with Glocks running at you, you're gonna get fucked. So it's really dependent about getting it. It's a bit, you know, it's not a very often setup. Like people don't use it as much. Of course, they're just gonna kill everyone. That's the thing. Like it's like you don't expect people to be close up. Usually, everyone just plays, you know, far back on the CT setup somewhere, and then they play for retakes. But by having this sort of a like trick setup, you can get kills if you like hit your first or second shot. Like then it can be pretty straightforward. So yeah, I'm gonna fast forward like anti-eco rounds because I checked and I saw that they were just able to convert pretty much. So focus more on gun rounds so we can go over more games. Pretty much. What mic to use? It's buzzing a bit. Is it too loud perhaps? I did turn it up. It's like a very good mic. It's the AT2020 something. Let me know if it's like a big issue, then I'll try and lower it or something. That should probably fix it. It was fine yesterday, but it was a bit lower. So gun round. Dignitas have a decent bank. Godsent obviously had to spend everything. No op on JW. There's an op on Cajun. And they send him towards B. So again, we see this like from all of the teams going for this mid control, but Godsent actually has the majority of their players towards B, and they just get wrecked by Cajun. Were they boosted up? Where did he get him? I think they were boosted up. Let's check that. That's pretty cool if they did that. Can you upload videos like this? Yeah, I'm gonna upload them now that I have VODs enabled. So this will be on YouTube as well, and there will be VODs here. Oh yeah, this boost is very cool. So like this gets you an angle that the T's don't expect. You're gonna see he's gonna get like a very easy kill. And this is like super cool. This is something... Where's my mouse? Hello? There you go. This is like something you can go for when you know the T's don't have a lot of utility, you know that they don't have an upper, or I mean in general you just use it against a team who likes to send a player on default more aggressively towards B to put pressure, because this is a real off angle. And yeah, you can pull this off probably like once, and then they're gonna know that it can be an issue. So probably you should save it for a very important round, like a reset round or something. But yeah, that's like an easy man advantage for Dignitas. So now Godsent is pretty much just waiting around, hoping for someone to overextend. And MSL is trying to get a more forward position, which is probably a bit unnecessary. I mean, you have the advantage, why push for more? But I don't know, maybe a better flash and better timing. I mean, if he just went in straight after the flash, he might have gotten the kill. But I mean, still it's, very like Godsent trying to just find a kill somewhere. Flasha's lurking, but Config's already waiting for it, so this is going to be another round for Godsent, it seems. Do I like Metallica? No, not really my type of a thing. Who do you think will qualify for the major? I don't know. That's a tough one. I mean, you kind of have to go with... How the fuck did they plant the bomb? What? How is this a 1v2? How is this a 1v1? Fucking hell. Of course, with the USB. Optic, NIP, probably Immortals at this point as well. Probably both Godsent and Hellraisers, because it's very hard for them to lose like 3 rounds. 3 games in a row, pretty much. And I don't know, like, I'd like to say that I thought that... Alright, so he just got a couple of good kills. I wanted to say that neither like G2 or EnVy will qualify, but the problem is like there's so many teams that are worse than them that it's hard to see both teams not making it. So it's very hard for EnVy now that they're 0-2 down. It seems like they're like gonna have a real tough time making it to the major. The 2v1 round, probably. I didn't really watch that game. I'm gonna go over it like after this game. Yeah, Optic and AP will be a tough one, but whoever loses still has a good chance of making it because they're both like strong teams. HR, haven't watched their games yet, but I think they've been improving. I think they looked better with Dead Fox than they did with Oscar. Their T sides were always a big problem, and that even looks better now. And they have a lot of talent on that team. I mean, Zero, Stico, Dead Fox, even Angel has been playing really well lately. But yeah, back to the game. Dignitas going for a mid push to get some info. And Magic is really good at playing like these close spots. And you can see that Godsent was basically going for a contact play from ramp, but because Dignitas had like good info from mid, they were able to over-rotate. But still, they're like... Godsent did manage to get the kills. NJW was on that really long lurk on B, which you wouldn't expect, basically. No reason for him to be there. Cajun has been playing like super sick. Has a lot of impact. I really like him as a player. He's like one of those guys, especially with the op, he's one of those solid oppers, right? Where you don't really like see him have flashy plays all that much, but he's really good at like holding angles and just getting like the kills he needs to get. And I think that's always what you want from your upper, like first. You need that first, and then like all the flashy moves and stuff are a bonus. So yeah, 1v1. It was a 3v1, but I mean JW wasn't close to react, and he has no idea where Cajun can be. So I mean a tough spot, no bomb as well. A big round for Cajun, 1v3. Still it's very close. You can see that Dignitas' economy is being pressured all the time pretty much. So Godsent just needs that one round, and that's why they keep forcing. What I dislike is the fact that they get like, you know, 5 AKs and they have 2 smokes and a flash. You know, not even head armor on all of the players. So I really feel like someone should just buy a Tech 9 and buy all the nades, you know. It's very hard to get entry into a site without any utility. Sure, if you're just gonna run out ramp or something like that, but it's hard to win around like that. You eat a nade or you have to run through a smoke. The cities have a big advantage then. G2 or EnVy more likely to make it? G2. And again, they have no, like we always talk about mid and mid control. Godsent no mid presence in this round. So it's relatively easy for Dignitas to rotate in this situation. Especially because they know, after they hear the AKs and they know it's a buy, they know that it has to be a weak buy because of the money situation, right? JW just gets 2 sick entries. I guess that can work as well. I mean, you wait out for long enough to have the CT spend their utility as well. That's the thing, you know, some things may be like wrong perhaps fundamentally, but if you get the kills, if you get a couple of good headshots, anything can work. So yeah, doesn't look like Magic is gonna go for it. Seems like Godsent, like a lot of times they just send one player, like either ramp or B, to draw some attention to himself, and the rest of the team is just on the opposite side waiting to explode. Maybe they're thinking like Dignitas over rotates at times, so they're trying to exploit that. Biggest thing RNG needs to close out more games. I think they have a big like mentality issue similar to Mouse Sports. I thought they overcame that at DreamHack when they had a good run, but it seems like they still have the same issue. They really had to close out that game against Renegades, against Silgi. Turn your mic down a bit. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Let's do that right now. I have to, like, for some reason it always starts lagging when if I just alt tab. So let's try. Okay, I think this should be better now, or maybe just do it in the. Okay. I think it should be fine now. It was like on 50 yesterday, so this is a bit louder now on 70, and there shouldn't be any buzzing. I refreshed the dashboard, so I maybe missed a couple of questions. Godsent in this qualifier. I need to watch the second game. I mean, in the first game, like, against G2, they were just the better team. G2 even like won both pistols, still couldn't win the game, so. We'll see what happened in this game, because I think I saw someone tweet they were also like down a lot of rounds, and then they managed to come back, which is interesting. And Dignitas takes a timeout immediately here. I think they're gonna eco. Like Dignitas is not a team that force buys all that often. They just don't seem to prefer it. They don't even like buy armor in second round after losing pistol. They just buy pistols without armor. But Magic saved an M4. Maybe they force because of that. I think Tyloo has a chance to qualify. I don't know. They were so shit on day one. Like I thought they could be a dark horse, but they were. Then they beat Cloud9 yesterday. I didn't watch that game, so I'm not really sure how it happened, but they play Mouse. Even though I think Mouse is shit right now, I do feel that they kind of have to beat Tyloo, you know. So after that, if that actually happens, Tyloo will be 1-2 down, and you have also a team like NIP or Optic being 1-2 down. If they meet them, I think that's the end of the road for Tyloo. So actually, Dignitas forces here. This is like a very, very important round. Because you can see that Godsent, like, Flusha doesn't have head armor. They don't have all of the nades. And, like, the money is extremely low for both teams. And actually, Rubino gets a kill, like, on JW. It seems like they want to explode connector now. This is the thing, now it's like, even though you have a man advantage, this is where you would like play safe, play the numbers, right, if you're CT, but they don't have, like they have 2-5-7, so even they have a man advantage, it's not like they don't have that big of an advantage in the round. But like great positioning from Magic, and this is where they should like close out the round. Because they have like, they're covering multiple angles, but it's like, it's still up to Magic to do a lot of work. He smokes himself off for some reason. But yeah. Sometimes that's the problem, right? The loose play style, when you let your players do whatever they want, sometimes they get countered, sometimes they get outplayed. And I always feel like in a round like this, where you're against a weak buy, a half buy, a force buy, however you want to call it, I feel you don't need to risk it with sending like JW that far up by himself, you know. Just like do something as a team. You can use your utility to negate the effect of like pistols close range. I just think it's a better decision to make most of the time. Navi at the moment, we haven't seen a lot of them. I mean, they had a tough group at T-League. People like didn't even know how Astralis, like they weren't expecting Astralis to be that good, and then they played SK later on. So I think they need more time to practice on maps. Like they need to widen their map pool. They're not good on like enough maps right now. What did I eat today? Salmon. It was very nice. Right, let's fast forward this shit. It's gonna be a straightforward round. Like the money is still tight for Godsent. Doesn't seem like they're going to force. And when you have like this much money, the best thing probably is to just buy a couple of Tech 9s, buy a couple of nades, because on a map like Mirage, even though you won't necessarily win the round, you can get a bomb plant and keep pressuring the economy of the CTs. Because when they have a lot of money like this and can rebuy multiple rounds, it's very difficult to play against them. So I think this is the first time JW actually has an op. So let's see what Godsent goes for in this round. Maybe they just send him B again to try and get a pick on the jumping player or something. So straightforward mid control. We see Optic config, perhaps trying to be a bit more aggressive early on. Decides against it. Is this a live game? No, this was played yesterday. I'm just reviewing it. Which mouse lineup you think was best? I think on paper with Lowell it's the best one, but they like they're at their worst in terms of form. So alright, that was weird. I think he was just hoping not to get checked. Maybe it was miscommunication. Maybe he was expecting like Cajun to bait for him. But I mean, there was a smoke. He can't really help him at that point. So now it's tricky. You see Cajun trying to make a play and MSL at the same time, but they both get punished for it. I mean, you need to do something, like you need to react somehow. If you're a man down, you either try to refrag, or you maybe go for a gamble and stack a site. And if they come your way, then you have a good chance of winning the round. If not, then you can just save and play for the next round. The problem is, like, and this is very difficult to do while you're playing. It's easy to say it like while you're watching the game, but the most difficult thing to do is, like, you know, come up with like a good play, a good like teamwork type of a play where your teammate will flash for you or something, and try to refrag in that sense. You see too many times players just try to do something by themselves individually, and that usually doesn't work, because the T's, when they have the advantage, most of the time they'll just wait around a little bit, waiting for someone to try and make an individual play like that. So that's like that's what the best teams in the world can manage to do, right? On the fly, they come up with a good thing. Okay, like just like flash for me ramp and I'll check it, or you throw a smoke here so you can bait for me, or some type of a setup like that, right? That's what makes them really good, like trying, you know, finding a way to claw their way back into the round after being at a disadvantage early on. Do you like the Swiss system? Yes, but I think like for the majors we should have a system where it's like best of threes all the way. I don't think we should have best of ones anymore. So this is like what Dignitas is good at, right? They switch things up. They were playing a bit more aggressive towards ramp in another, like, after they lose a round. They realize that Godsent most of the time are a bit spread around, or at least they have like just one or two players in ramp, one or two players in B. So they decide to group up and take the duel there, which is a good thing. Like when you notice that your opponents are spread out around the map, they go for defaults. That's where you want to try and early on in the round send like maybe 2 players or 3 players somewhere and pick off their 1 player, right? Use the numbers and then fall back and play more passive, because you have the man advantage, and then you can just play for info and rotate accordingly once you get the info. So yeah, a very scrappy round, as you would expect, like with Godsent. Revolves a lot around, you know, players finding like good positions individually, and a lot of like 3v3s, 2v3s and stuff. Oh, that was a good kill. Cajun with the USP again. Wow. That was a very, very big round from Schneider, and a very important round, because you see it's the second round they win in a row. And that way now, I mean, still Dignitas can buy. It seems like they're going to force it up. But they didn't get reset themselves, so... You feel like in rounds like these, I mean, Config was... He was by himself here, so he doesn't really have anywhere to go. But I don't know, in a round like that where it ends up being a 2v2, that's where like your individual players shine, or that's where their impact is the highest, right? That's when they can make a play and make an aggressive peak and make a good decision and win the round. So you can always say, oh, they should have played like more safe, they should have like grouped up, but you need to take into account the information like that the players have. For example, Flasha was like in ladder room and he got 1 kill from there, so that makes it more difficult for you to rotate as well. So can't really hold it against Dignitas all that much. So this is a very important round for them. If they lose this round, Dignitas, they're probably gonna look like the half is probably gonna be like 9-6 at best for them, if not 8-7. But if they win it, they might like still get something like 10 or 11 rounds on the CT side. So they do decide to not go for anything crazy. Magic again, like playing close up around the porch area. And they have given up mid a lot. I mean, they either have pushed it as a team or they just play it passive. And Config usually plays it more aggressive by himself. I don't know if he like wasn't feeling it this game, or maybe it was a team decision. So here he tries to go for a peek, but just gets killed by Schneider. And then the same thing, like, this is like a problem that, again, you try to just push by yourself. You know, you're basically hoping that no one's gonna be there or that you're gonna catch someone off guard. Flush again with a good lurk from ladder room. I mean, Cajun gets 2 good kills, but there's not much he can do right there. What do you think about Flusha being one of the entry fraggers of Godsent now and Schneider lurk? I think, like, it feels like they don't have as defined roles. I don't think like that happens every time, that Schneider's on the lurk every time, or Flusha is the entry fragger. They're probably trying to figure things out themselves. So it depends, like, on if someone has a feeling like they want to try and get an entry some round, or they want to lurk. They have been looking better, like, than they have at the minor, that's for sure. Way better. All the licks in the box aren't working. What? Fucking hell, I'm shit at this streaming stuff. I need to figure that out. Okay, eco round, fuck this. So, let's see here. Dignitas actually has a very good buy. No op. Even though Cajun could have went for it, they decide to go for a rifle and all the nades. Seems like they want to push mid now. Oh. Yeah, that's a good switch up from Dignitas. Schneider has just been like sick this map so far. These are like huge kills for him. I mean, his team was in a what? 4, I mean 2v4, something like that. He just gets 2 kills. Okay, I'll fix those like info box links later. Did you watch the match live? No. What makes a great analyst? A lot of, like, basically just like watching or playing the game a lot and knowing a lot about the game. If you're a caster and just want to, like, get better at the caller, perhaps you should just, you know, watch a lot of games and try to figure out, you know, try to see the patterns that are happening and what teams go for most of the time. You don't really expect people who weren't ex-players to go too much in depth, so you should be fine with just knowing the basics pretty much. You can also watch like some of the desks and see what people talk about there. I should have watched this round more closely. What the fuck happened? Alright, so MSL is on B, config is on A, they go through underpass. Oh, they actually boost up. Is that what they go for? Alright, config gets Schneider. Yeah, but they have no idea that JW is boosted, so... And he hears MSL. So yeah, that was a good call from Godsent. How are Godsent right now? They have any chance at the major? They are better right now than they were at the minor. That's for sure. But at the major, I don't know. If they keep improving like they have from minor to here, they definitely have. What did Godsent change structure-wise to make this comeback? I don't really think they changed all that much. I mean, the rounds they won were pretty close, and most of the rounds they won weren't based of like having a very, you know, some insane execute or whatever. It was mostly like defaults and then playing off of like the picks they get. That round from Schneider was huge. So that was like, they had that, which was a 1v2 at the end. It was more than anything else, it was their individual players stepping up. What do you think a bit NIP losing from Hellraisers? I don't know. That game is gonna be next that I'm gonna analyze here. So I think Hellraisers was improving, but I didn't think they had a chance on like a map like Overpass. I think yesterday I said that they might have a chance on a map like Cobble. Oh god, that's just so unlucky. He should have gotten both of them there, but yeah. They know that, they saw the bomb as well. Pronex is very low. They should have this round. Yeah. Between NIP and Optic, I'm not really sure. I would want to say NIP. Depends which map they end up on. I feel like NIP is gonna veto. I think both teams actually veto Mirage, so maybe someone gets an advantage there. NIP should avoid Train, pretty much, and Optic would probably want to avoid us too. They're probably gonna end up on something like Cobble or Overpass. How do I practice positioning and accuracy with my op? Feel like I hit a good percentage of my shots, but often when I die because they go aggressive and I'm just stuck in a position. You can try and watch watch demos of pro players and see their positions on like the same spots you play and see what they're doing differently than you are. You should also like probably work on your crosshair placement when it comes to accuracy. That's a big deal. Like figure out the angles and how people peek you. Do they take like wide peeks or just like run straight away, or do they like have shoulder peeks? That way you don't really need to move your like crosshair with your mouse. You just like set it on a spot where you like assume that the model will go through, and that way you just like fire. Basically they run into your crosshair and they go aggressive and you're just stuck in a position. Well, not really sure what you mean by that. Like maybe if you're a bit too forward and if someone's like rushing or pushing, try to always put yourself in a spot where you can get a kill but then fall back and take another angle, right? You don't really want to be in a position where you have to go all in, and if you miss a shot you're dead. If you don't have like a teammate supporting you or anything like that. Where do you think Kiwi will join? I don't know. I'd heard like there was that team with him, Taps and Gobby and all those guys. Like yeah, they're maybe like making a new team. Godsent team play. I think they're like similar to the old Fnatic thing. The problem is like it's much more difficult to run the same style now. Everyone's just much more skilled, so it's more difficult to be as loose and win rounds the same way. So I think they need more than what the old Fnatic have to be very successful. I'm from the UK. How do I change country to improve at CSGO? Go to NA. It seems to be working for the UK people. Alright, second pistol round. 9-6. I think I talked about this yesterday. Like this is the if Dignitas wins the pistol round here, you feel like they're gonna close out the game, but if Godsent wins this, then it's like a 50-50 game. It's very even. So an aggressive play initially from JW, trying to get information, which is fine, because then if he doesn't see anyone, they can leave him there and the rest of the team can perhaps rotate, but he gets dinked, so that's a problem. Yeah, Airbus, I think that's probably the case for him. Let's see what's going on here. Alright. Basically, Flusha decided to win the pistol round with a couple of great headshots. This is the problem with like splitting as... This is why most of the time you see the same pistol rounds being ran, especially on Mirage. That's why you see teams like throw 2 smokes here, throw 2 nades here. The players who bought the smokes, they buy nades, and then the T's like push, plant the bomb and push towards CT. Why is that? Because in pistol rounds, like ST, you obviously want to get close range with the Glocks, right? Because the CTs have advantage with the USPs. They can one-tap you long range and fuck you up. So you use utility to get those close range battles, right? When you split up like this, sure, connector is still close range and running out, but that way you're really like dependent on or hoping that the CTs like miss their initial shot so you can swarm them. But if like this player dies instantly from a headshot or the player from apps, then it's way more difficult to like overwhelm the bomb site and overwhelm the CTs. The problem is why teams like switch things up like Dignitas did now, because this is becoming like a little bit too predictable. So sometimes people just change it because it's something different and you may like catch them off guard or something like that. But yeah, it didn't really work out at all for Dignitas here. What do you think quality that separates pros from just really good players? Well, besides the fact that they are like more skilled mechanically, I think it is like understanding of the game, in a sense that especially like 3v3 situations, after plants and all of that, that's where you see like more inexperienced and like not as good players, you know, not play it optimally. They are perhaps a bit over aggressive and their team loses the round because of it. Like pro players are very good at realizing what's the best move they can make for their team to win the round pretty much. And like everyone's on the same page in regards to that as well. Alright, so fast forward through the Antico rounds, seem to have been actually 2 flawless rounds for Godsent. This is a very big deal. You can see that they have like 5-6k, so it's gonna take a lot from Dignitas to break their economy. And they still like have the Scout on JW and the UMP on Pronax. So let's see what Dignitas goes for. Seems like they spread out, going for that mid control. Or not, they're a bit more passive. Probably expecting a mid push from the CTs. Pronax just like walks straight through smoke. Did Magic see him? He probably saw him. And this is like, it seems like this is his thing now. It seems like he's actually playing with the commando. So I have no idea. Schneider dies as well. This is something you probably don't want to happen. Like, I mean, that was pretty individual from Godsent. But I mean, what can you do? You just try and make a play. You want to be close range with the UMP, so... Pause matchery. Yeah. The thing is, like, they have such a strong economy, they can afford to lose a round, but what they really should do, like, this is very big, and I think this is a mistake from MSL. Like, there's no reason for you to push and lose any more guns. You shouldn't chase Lekru in this situation. Why? Because you can see they have money to rebuy everything, and your money is shit. So now he needs to get a drop or play with a shit gun or something like that. It's way more important for Dignitas at this point to like have everyone stay alive, so that even if they lose the next round, they can still keep buying it and are not just immediately reset. So that's like a small mistake from MSL. We'll see if it comes back to haunt them. Can EnVy qualify? I think it's highly unlikely. Not just because they're 0-2, but because they just don't seem like... It seems like something's wrong in that team. Doesn't seem like they enjoy playing with each other all that much. Stuck at the level, improve DM. I think like mostly like the number one thing you need to like improve is like mechanics. That's like the primary thing, right? Without mechanics, if you know a lot about the game, it's not gonna help you all that much. So basically like figure out, maybe rewatch your like demos or something, or record some games and then rewatch it and see like what is like the problem for you, what's been going wrong. Do you like die too much? Do you like not get the kills you should get, or do you just like are always in a unfavorable position when it comes to a duel or something like that, and then try to work on those. Maybe your positioning, crosshair placement. I think that's like something that, you know, players on that level like Supreme and around that level, they don't really take into account, like having your crosshair placed so that you're just waiting for someone and they basically run into it, and it's much easier to get the kill. Do you play CSGO on stream? Not really. I just started streaming like yesterday, this stuff, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna be playing games on stream. I'm not really a entertaining person, I feel like, when I play. I mostly rage. I mean rage. No one likes losing, guys. Alright, so a big round for Dignitas. Now they go for mid control. This is like just a small thing. This is like what a lot of teams do now to fight mid control from the T's on the CT side. They throw a Molotov here behind the mid boxes because that's the only position where the T's can really hide. They have to run like either way, and sure, they have cover here because of the smoke, but if they get overextended, then you can like pick them off easily, perhaps, or at least you buy time with the Molotov for this smoke to pass. So those are like the small things that are really important, because if the T's have to re-smoke this to get towards mid, get into connector, they don't have that many smoke slabs for an execute. They have to smoke off probably deep connector, maybe even window, and if you throw 2 smokes here, that's already 4 smokes, and you only have 1 smoke left for the execute. So that can be really tricky. So those are the small things, like the small mind games that can make a difference in the round. So that's why Dignitas perhaps slow down a little bit. Seems like they just want to get delayed mid control. I have not reviewed NIP yet. I'll do that after this game. So let's see what's going on. Still like very passive from Dignitas. Now they like re-smoke mid again to try get a bit more forward positions. You can see the CTs are all like lurking behind this smoke. Player is holding like a passive angle. It should be Flusha. Yeah. So now they have no info. Like Flusha and Schneider are both playing passive. Alright, so JW gets the kill on the guy getting boosted. Just gets good timing. Yeah, that's a very like risky peek from Cajun, and that's the problem. You feel like they didn't have enough utility to pull that off, and also you can't really just try and boost the player without somehow drawing the attention of the, you know, CPL player towards A or something, because why wouldn't he watch this angle? If his teammate is watching connector and a third guy is playing passive on A, there's no reason for him not to watch for that. So a bit sloppy in that execute, and that's the problem for Dignitas. Like, that was a big round for them. Now they have to eco yet again. They got reset, so maybe, I don't know, they seem to be playing really scared in the beginning. Like they, maybe like from practice or something, they're expecting like Godsent to be way more aggressive towards mid, because you'd think like they would go for that mid control more like quickly. They would try to take it. Who do you think will win between NIP and Optic? I have no idea. It's going to be super close. CIS team. I think Gambit would have qualified. I'm pretty sure they would have qualified. I mean, the problem is then you would have had some of the teams like then you would have had NIP, NIP in the major, so they wouldn't. So like that would, it wouldn't be as difficult to qualify if you like put 2 teams from the qualifier, like I don't know, NIP and Optic, you put them in the major. For flip side, I'm not that sure. They look better than they have like after the summer break, but they're still like not at the level of a Legends team. But Gambit, I really liked what I saw from them at DreamHack Winter. I think they're gonna be a good team at the major, like a dark horse potentially. He jumped by himself. I mean, it's the same thing. They tried to send a player into CPL. Yeah, I feel like I need to work on like balancing the questions. I mean, the amount of answering I'm doing and how much I'm actually answering the game. Working on the game. Maybe like do it separately, finish the game, then answer. Or you guys can like just ask like questions. Try to ask more questions if you have them about what you're seeing, like in the game, if you have questions about that. And then like the more general questions after the game ends or something while we have some downtime. Okay, another buy round for Dignitas. Oh fucking hell, they're going for that smoke execute again. I think they're still the only tier 1 team that goes for this stuff, right? Because you can see that they're throwing like the smokes and everything, and you know, they want to try and plant the bomb. So luckily for them, all of like Godsent is, no one is on A pretty much. They're probably, you know, they were going for that mid push. So maybe that's like, because Dignitas was playing so passive a lot of the time and Godsent didn't push mid, this is maybe where they make the read, okay, now they're like probably gonna push mid, let's just go A. But the problem with this is it doesn't work most of the time, because the T's like actually need to push for position and they don't do it, and then they just get stuck like in apps, ninja, like sandwich perhaps, and they just get flushed out by all the Molotovs and everything else that the CTs have. So let's see what happens in this round. Actually, they have a good chance of winning it simply because Godsent is not on the side. Yeah, they have like all the positioning they need, so they need to send someone else with config here, because you see what's going on. Like, they're all in the same spot. They need to gain more ground. Sure, you flash in, but what's config gonna do by himself against like 2 or 3 players? I feel like someone else should have ran to help him. And sure, like Magic is on the flank, but that's gonna be expected as well. You can see Rubino burns, they throw like more flashes, they have smokes for the bomb as well. So this is why, like, I think this is actually a perfect example why these rounds are so difficult to win. Like, you need like to make some forward progress towards CT or towards connector with more than one player. Especially if you didn't get any entry kills coming into the site, because you're just gonna get flushed out and probably gonna lose the round. What was the question, Yanis? I didn't, probably just missed it, sorry. Yeah, I mean, I think like I think this execute, you need to adjust it a little bit for it to work. You can't just do what Dignitas did right now. I think it's viable, but not in the way the teams have been doing it, right? I don't think Zipex is that underrated, honestly. I think like a lot of people, at least like us, when we talk like commentators, analysts, I think we always like speak highly of him because he's a support player and still has a lot of impact. Yeah, so Godsent does a good job. Like, they send JW towards B, and he gets like an entry there, and now they're like being more aggressive towards mid, because it's very unlikely that Dignitas will go for the same smoke execute 2 times, right? If it doesn't work, they're probably gonna switch into the default. So Godsent is thinking, okay, let's just go for the same play. This time it's probably gonna work. We're probably gonna get some contact, and JW gets a good pick in the B apps as well. This is where it's like difficult. Like, Godsent is playing like very well right now on the CT side, but this is where you feel like what I would do if I were Dignitas, right? I would probably send one player to just watch for the flank early on, and one player towards B, something like that, and then do something like an attack on A with 2 waves, for example, right? You throw the smokes, and then you have that player who was watching B just like throw something or try and fake by himself. And that way, the CTs are probably going to think it was an A fake and they want to go B, right? But instead, you just come out A delayed with 1 extra smoke or 2 if you have them. Just smoke off 1 spot, so you don't really need to worry about all the angles. And then you try and get into the side, because you are most likely going to force some sort of a rotation from the CTs, right? They kind of have to react to that. If they don't have a player very aggressive towards top mid or somewhere where he can have the info that, you know, they're not going B or something of the sort. You need to have something more elaborate, because the alternative you have is just keep doing the same thing and hoping that somehow something will change. Like either the CTs do something else and then what you were doing works, or like people just get some good kills, entry kills or something like that, and then it works. Thoughts on RDL? I don't really. I've talked to him a little bit. I think he does more like in terms of preparation for the team, so he's more of an analyst. I remember playing against him in like 2013 or something. He was actually playing with Pronax and all those guys. So yeah, I'm not really sure like, you know, how I'm not really sure how much he adds to the team. I'm sure it's like more preparing them for their opponents, so it's always like helping Pronax out so he doesn't have to do all the work. Can C9 win their 3 games? It's gonna be hard. Okay, so Dignitas forced because Godsent has 14 rounds. Cajun got killed after time ran out, so he doesn't have any money. And they go like for a fast play towards connector, because that's something they didn't try to do yet. And Magic is making plays right now. And this is like very smart for him. Gets 2 kills and now he knows like they know where he is. He should just like try and not to allow himself to get refragged. But Config goes for a play by himself. I feel like if you want to go for that play for Config, then like tell that to Magic so like he can come from the other side and he can refrag. But yeah, big round for Magic. Got a kill on Flush on Cat, then another one in CPL. So that's like what I was talking about. You just hope that some of your players like make a good individual play. Still very strong economy on Godsent, so they like have all they need. Again, Dignitas like change the pace. They run out ramp. They realize they need like the stuff they were doing is not working. So Coffee gets a great kill. Now they have control of the site, and this is where again you need to like get some forward positioning or something, because you know, and now they seem like they want to do it with more players. Oh, he saw him. I think they know where both players are now. Yeah. Now this is an example of like the move that Dignitas went for was actually good. Like the call was good. They were just a bit unlucky. I think Schneider was full blind when he got that one kill. So, you know, when you lose a round like this, you should be like, okay, guys, like what we did worked. We were just a bit unlucky after like we got into the side, and that's like very very important for like you guys who like want to try and make a team and then you practice. It's very important when you practice to try and differentiate why are you losing, if you're losing, or why did you lose a particular round. Did you lose the round because someone fucked up individually, like someone missed an easy kill in the back, or someone missed a smoke or something like that? Or was the call wrong? Was like under the circumstances that you decided to go for like this play, is that something that's like just a bad call considering what's been happening on the map or what's been happening prior to that? So trying to like being able to differentiate that is not as easy as it seems, especially if you have like teammates who are not honest all the time about what went wrong in the round. So yeah, that can definitely like help you improve, to realize, or even in official games, to know that you're doing the right thing. Just need to like make small adjustments. Have you seen other teams do the Tai Lu Ace Red? Yeah, I think it was VP who actually did it first way back. But people haven't been doing it in a while. Why is the gameplay a bit laggy? I have no idea. It shouldn't be. It was fine yesterday. I'm gonna probably restart the game after I finish this map. Would the smoke execute work better if you change up the timing on the mid lurk a bit? I mean, it all depends. If you send 2 players mid, you're obviously weaker getting into the site. So if they have more players inside the bomb site, like if they have a player in Shadow or in Sandwich or somewhere close, it's gonna be more difficult for you to trade if you only have one player in apps and 2 players ramp. And sure, it can be a good backstab, but also if you're gonna use smokes on A, you're not gonna have smokes for like cat or window. So then you can be shot from multiple angles while you're trying to get into connector. And when you have one player on the lurk, he's like, it's like, nowadays players are really, because of like guys like Happy and Get they're really aware of players being on the lurk. So it's very hard to, you know, have to make a good lurk in an execute like that. I think the best way is to just push through the smokes after you get control of the site, if you see that they're playing far back. Was Snyder's first half play important? Yeah, I think he was like the most impactful player for them probably in the first half. Dignitas is going A very often. Yeah, on one hand, you can, but on the other hand, the other team is like, you know, expecting you to go B at some point. So if anything, it's maybe after going A for so much, it's maybe even better to fake B, because I think that would cause a bigger rotation than just like faking A and going B. I don't think the B player is gonna move until he sees like the bomb or something. So yeah, a bit unlucky for Dignitas in that round. So let's see what they come up with now. Obviously their back's against the wall, but still if they win this round, you know, Godsent would have to force if they want to buy or go for an eco, so it's still not impossible for them to win the game. And actually you can see them switching towards B now. And Lacro is by himself. Okay, Flush is here now. Oh, that nade like did a shit ton of damage. But they have no presence like on mid, so they don't have to worry about anything except B and A. They don't have to worry about mid. Okay, that was a bit awkward for Flusha. I don't think that setup was very good from them. I think they were too close to each other. Couldn't really establish a good crossfire. JW is just deciding to kill everyone, it seems. Through the smoke, why not? Oh, that was a sick shot as well. And they lose another clutch round. I mean, they had the advantage, but the kill through the smoke, then this player was a bit unlucky on the timing. He couldn't like really hide in time. So this is like a game where you feel that, yeah, Godsent was the better team, they deserved to win, but they were a lot of close rounds. So imagine like Schneider doesn't win that round in the first half, you know, Dignitas wins 1 or 2 of these rounds in the second half. It could have been at least an overtime game. So yeah, it was a good game. It wasn't one of those like games that were just shit pretty much, and you know, it was close but shit. This was close but good. So let's see if there's something like different with the settings. There shouldn't be. I think everything should be fine, like same as yesterday pretty much. Maybe it's just the game acting out a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna like start it up again now. Okay, so EnVyUs, no, NIP Hellraisers will be up next. So yeah, I guess now if you guys have like any questions in general, not predictions, because I'm gonna talk about that like in the end. Close but shit, you mean like CLG versus Renegades? Yeah, that's a good example. Was it a mistake from Dignitas? I'm not necessarily sure it was a mistake. Like, they had Overpass and Mirage left, and also like before this game, yes, it's Star Ladder, they lost 16-3 to them on Mirage, but they like beat them on Mirage 2 times. Since then, they also like had an 8-1 score against Godsent. So I thought this was one of the games that Dignitas was gonna win for sure, because they would be so confident in the matchup. They did decide also to just veto 2 maps. That's how comfortable they were. Like they were thinking, we just need to veto Train and Cash. We're fine with whatever like is left, and we get to pick the side. So they did get to start CT as well. Background link. Fucking hell. I don't know. I need to find it at some point. Seems like a lot of you guys have been like, I'll tweet it out after the stream or something. I'll try to find it. If I was Mouse's GM, what would be the long-term solution for the roster? I think the core of like Chris J, Lowell, and Nico is good, is solid. I think they need an in-game leader in the team. I don't know who that might be. They need like an in-game leader. If they can find an in-game leader, it feels like he has to be more of a support type of a player, right? Because you already have like Nico and Chris J, who are like the playmakers, Lowell as well. So you feel like he has to be there instead of Speedy, and I think they just need an upgrade over Dennis, perhaps someone like Tabson. They have a lot of talent, like Lowell and Nico are both young players. They have like a good future, they have potential. It's just like they don't have a good leader right now. Am I going to be on the desk for the major? I don't know. I haven't been contacted. A nation to win a major, hell yeah. Not 2017 though, 2018 when I go back to playing. I think Chris J is good enough. I think he is. I think like he got hurt by having to get off the op for Oscar, because like the timing when that happened was when Chris J was like, I think he was like top 3 oppers at the moment. He had so much impact at E-League and around that time for Mouse. I really liked his play. Would they be able to get Gobi back? I don't know, like if they could, and I'm not even sure if they should. You know, I don't know. I don't know where to like put that. I'm not sure if that would be a good move. Maybe yes, maybe not. Issue with Mouse is Nico likes flashes. No, Nico playing with Dennis is speedy. So. I have been asked before to like coach by a few teams, not that many, but I basically just don't want to do it at the moment. It's a lot more stressful than just doing desks. It takes more time as well, but it does like have the benefit of like competing again in a way. That's like that's always been a great feeling for me. So maybe sometime in the future. Another French shuffle. Yeah, seems like it's bound to happen. Perhaps not if G2 like makes the major and has a good run at the major, and then they don't need to change anything. But if they drop out, I think there will be. Thanks, Sata Tardi. Yeah, they were like top 10, around top 10. It was like last year, pretty much, or like early this year, something like that. All right. I'm gonna go grab some water real quick. I'll run like a minute ad, guys, and then like we're gonna start with the next game. Be right back. Alright, let's get into the second game. Fucking Tommy. could you explain Nico's playstyle? And what was the other one? Nico is just like, he's just such a good he's like, he can do whatever you want from him. He can entry, he can like, I don't know, he's just like pretty sick. He likes to be aggressive, he likes to create openings, so you just try to put him in a position, like flash for him, you know, put him somewhere where he can get a duel. You want him to be able to get 1v1 duels on the T side, and he's gonna win those, like, I don't know, 4 times out of 5 or something like that. How hard it is for you to watch him lose in a mediocre team like MyUs. It's very hard, because I know that, I mean, just like, he's definitely been a top 5 player this year in terms of like individual performance, but he's like, he didn't have any achievements like meaningful with his team pretty much. So I would like to see him in a team that can be a contender, and I want to see him like play a grand final of a major, because I would, you know, obviously I think he has the capacity to really perform in those situations. Alright, so let's focus a bit more on the game now. I really should have like taken these names off. Okay, so NIP starting on the T side, going for a very like fast information play. And you can see also how all the players, like GetRight was the first player, I think, how they're like constantly jumping while they're like pushing. That's because you wanna, like, at all the possible positions where they can like pick you off, hold the line, you jump over so that they can get an easy headshot. And you can see still that's happening, right? Because so it makes it more difficult for them to one-tap you, and you just need like to gain some ground with the Glocks, as we talked about, to be able to get close range and really like wreck them. Tell Nico to learn French. Yeah, that would probably be a good idea. Do you really think he likes those things? Yeah, I know he likes it. I know he likes to play like that. And like, when you have a player so skilled, you always want to put him in a position to succeed, and you want to put him somewhere where he's gonna have impact, right? There's no point in him like playing passive. What the fuck happened? Weren't they like in a... Wait, let's... I thought this round was like over. Okay, I missed it. Fucking hell. Oh, that was very sick. That was sick play. That Fox is actually very, very skilled. I remember him like when I think I was still playing at the time when he showed up in like the Hungarian scene. It was just a guy like very, very good mechanically, sick aim. And it seems like over time he also, you know, matured as a player. He would be like over aggressive, make like silly moves, throw away advantages, but seems like he has matured, or is maturing in Hellraisers. I think I have that Mad Q mode -2. That should be on, like all that stuff should be good. Oh, it's this, fucking hell. Sorry guys, forgot about the dynamic one because they restarted the game. Should be better now. If he feels he has to. I think now he feels like it. I think now it's pretty obvious that it is dependent on them doing it. Alright, so yeah, we said we're gonna fuck these rounds. They did lose it though, so it's fine. I think both teams converted when I took a glance. So yeah, obviously big round from Dead Fox, secures the pistol for them as an underdog, and Hellraisers are an underdog here. We always talk about how, you know, they need a good start. It's because it's very difficult to see Hellraisers being able to like continuously beat NIP on like straight gun rounds. You feel like for them to beat NIP, they need to like win pistol, because then you play against, you know, you have anti-eco rounds, and they have to like keep pressuring the economy, because that way they have an advantage at freeze time. They have like good equipment, all the nades, while NIP has to maybe scramble, have a couple of weak buys, and then they're forced into some plays that are not perhaps optimal. So we'll see how the game actually goes. I haven't watched it myself, but that's why a good start is very important, especially on the CT side, because then you can play with more confidence. You know, you can be more aggressive, and you need to be aggressive on a map like Overpass. So that's Fox with the op, going for that early pick towards mid. And this is something NIP has become really good at, like this year with Threat. Very methodical. You know, they were always gonna throw that flash. They're not gonna get so easily picked off at the beginning of the round, which is super important. On Overpass, because there are so many angles, it's more difficult to do. So it's about finding the balance between not getting picked off, but not like spending too much utility before you get to the bomb site, because then you're not gonna have much left for the actual like push into the site. You can see here like Hellraisers were going for like delayed, trying to take control of water, and they trade 1-for-1, so not optimal. Stico gets tagged as well. But it's good. It's always good to be like proactive, right? Not just to sit back and wait for the opponents to come to you, but you take the game to them. It's just a matter of finding the right way to do it, doing it like in a smart way, and not just, you know, dumb aggression, pretty much. MVP of 2016, I don't know, it's a tough one. This is like a very gambly play. I'm not sure why NIP decides to go through that smoke. Do they feel pressure that they're being flanked, like they don't have enough time, or what's going on there? Because you see like they have two players there behind the smoke. There's no smokes left. Sure, they have mollies, like a molly on Bondik, but why? Why push through the smoke? Why not wait a couple of extra seconds, like for the smoke to clear? Thanks, 2Bs. Yeah, so I have no problem with like running through smokes, but I think it's more difficult to do it like in this position, because you can't really, it's hard to pop flash the players who are playing up close, you know? If you're gonna run through a smoke, you need to pop flash. So I feel they should have just waited out probably in this case, but yeah. Maybe they were, based on some previous info in the round, maybe they weren't expecting them to be up close. Maybe they thought they were playing like back side. But yeah. Someone dropped out. Okay. I think I tried one of these and it didn't work. I need to set this up like before I start streaming. But thanks, Tommy. Good looking out. What's going on here? Attack, pause, unpause. Are we live? Seems like it's going now, yeah. Okay, so NIP decides to rebuy yet again. They have a lot of AKs, not a lot of utility, so maybe an expo play towards B. Yeah, seems like that's what they go for initially. Well, those are some cool gloves. Where did this happen? Never mind. Alright, let's rewind this a bit. I missed everything.
Counter-terrorists win.
Oh, it was connector, alright. So they want to go for that fast B split, but that Fox like picks a good spot to go in this round, pretty much. And now like NIP is just left with 2 smokes and a flash. So they have to go for a contact play. And this is what you see Hellraisers try to do. They throw a molly here. They want to go for delayed control of water, but they didn't like expect maybe they were expecting Dead Fox to give them the info, but they didn't expect players to be up close, and they got caught off guard there. This is a round you feel like Hellraisers like gave away a bit too cheaply. They had the man advantage and they were just a bit reckless. And it was a very like, I mean, a weak buy from NIP. They had AKs, but they didn't have like a lot of utility. So luckily for Hellraisers, they will have enough money to buy. Maybe they just go for pistol. I don't know. And they'll probably buy. That Fox can drop a gun. There's never like too much vodka, senpai, and it's never too early. Desi Bosanac, Bardolph Molly. That guy spends too much time in CS, almost as much as fucking Anders. Alright, so they do rebuy 2 FAMASes. Interesting that Zero goes for like the FAMAS and Incendiary instead of like buying a UMP, but it's preference most of the time. So another like fast play towards B from NIP. Oh, that boost is dirty. That's a good boost. Unfortunately, they get like, they don't get a kill, but they get so much damage done. Like these 2 players are almost dead. Just by that. Was Godsent better? Yeah, Godsent was better in the previous map. I actually have VODs enabled now, so you will be able to rewatch it if you want. I'm gonna put it on YouTube as well. Okay, so a man down, not a man down, but a lot of like damage done to NIP early on. So let's see what they decide to go for. They've been taking their time going towards long. This is one of the setups I think Anders hates the most with a player in this corner, because it's very easy to trade with that player, even if you have an opera here. But great information play from Hellraisers. We see a lot of teams. Dignitas does it a lot. At some point in the round, they just pop flash this area, tracks, and then they rotate based on the info they get. So you see, like, this player just dies after that Fox gets smoked off. That's why people hate it. But they're not gonna expect Angel. Like, they think that Fox is the second player on A, and that's it. Angel kinda fucks that up a little bit. Probably should have been more patient and let one player pass, because that's a great setup. Like, because he was like his teammate was baiting for him. You're not gonna expect him to be that close. So yeah, still because of that early damage being done and Sticko being on the fast flank, even though he gets just 1 kill, Hellraisers win the round, which was like pretty much a reset round in a way for them. If they lost it, they would have had to eco. So this one is also very important. Look at the money. Both teams are very low. So these are like the most important rounds in the game, guys. This is like when if you're T, this is when you go for your best strat, pretty much. And if you're CT, this is where you go for like some sort of a play, like if you have that boost that they did, or you know, something that you practice and that it's like your go-to play. You don't really want to just straight up play default in a round like this. Sure, sometimes it can work, but you know, these are the rounds you practice for pretty much. And Forest had enough money for an op. That's probably something that Hellraisers won't expect either. Again, they have this 3-player setup towards A, so that's just like, this is just a decision for them, basically a read, because they're playing passive towards B. They're like making the commitment to be stronger on A and play the retake on B. Oh, that's awkward. Alright. That was a sick molly. That molly basically like won them the round pretty much. That's the small things. That's why, like, why sometimes we talk about or hate when people have utility left and they don't use it to get into the site. Imagine if they don't throw that molly. He would be able to constantly like take fights and re-peek and probably get some kills, buy time for his teammates at least, and the round is a lot closer. This way you force him out of position and your player coming in from the other side can get an easy entry kill and control of the site. So you need to have the presence of mind to use your utility, and also you need to know how to throw all that shit. Like, that's not as easy as you might think. I was amazed at times how like even in tier 1 teams, talking with some of the in-game leaders, like they call a strat in like a round like that that's super important, and one of the players just says, I forgot how to throw that smoke or some shit like that, and they had to adjust on the fly, and then everything falls apart and they lose the round. So yeah, that was super important. Nice little like comeback from NIP after being down 5-1. And Hellraisers take a timeout because they understand they need to like stop NIP now. They're getting too much momentum going as well. Premier League, have fun. Title in game, yeah. It's insane how much I can learn in one day. Even have the VODs up. I mean enabled for this one. Okay, so no op on Hellraisers, not that much utility either. This is where it's a bit tricky, right? You don't have all the Molotovs for late round, and if you just play it passive all the way, and if the T's play it passive and like wear you out, like make you spend all your utility, you're gonna have a tough time defending. So you either need to try and make a play early on to get an advantage, or you just need to fucking risk it a little bit and save some of the utility for later on in the round. Because if you don't do any of that, you're basically just hoping somehow that either they're gonna make a mistake or that some of your players is gonna have like a hero round. Nice, a cheeky little smoke. Should be expected though. Yeah, it seems like Freiburg is expecting something like that. So again with that close setup towards Monster. Again 3 players towards A. I mean, in a tournament like this, especially when you consider that NIP has been playing a lot and Hellraisers haven't, you know, there's a lot of like preparation coming into it. Like Hellraisers watching NIP's demos, and maybe they see a tendency of NIP when they play slow, they go towards A, so that's why they always have more players towards that side. This was like... This was a bit weird from Bondik, because they again had like Angel as kind of a joker here, right? So he's like constantly being aggressive, Bondik like drawing attention to himself, that Fox as well. But then like at a crucial moment he starts running to reload, and then Angel like gets contact because like a player runs into him. But they know it's not the same guy, so then like the bait kinda fails. So I feel maybe if he just like even died, but Angel would have been in a position to maybe get like both kills, that perhaps would have been better for them, but it's like heat of the moment type of stuff. And you see the problem, right? They're out of utility, and then like the T's just execute and overwhelm them. It looked like to be a pretty easy round for NIP. Why Serbians are stupid? Because we drink a lot and like skip school. I didn't watch the game, I just know that it was like overtime and that Hellraisers won. Oh, Pit with the commando as well. Interesting. So now they have the op again, so they can try to make some plays with that. you really shouldn't. Oh yeah, always flash if you're gonna repeak like this, especially after he heard the enemy opper as well. Because if you just straight up dry repeak, he's gonna be waiting for you. You're gonna get fucked. So yeah, now they realize like they've been losing too many rounds to this, so they try to switch things up by playing more aggressive. They actually have like 4 players towards the A bomb site, and the bomb is slowly going back towards B. I think they're gonna like get some good info here, and then they can rotate. Or not. Where's that fox? Yeah, they're still like, because of that kill on long as well, they still can't rotate towards A. And there's a smoke here, so Bonnik has no idea what's going on. But now he hears them running away. Now that should like start the rotate. Yeah, Stick was there as well. And it does feel like Canopy waited a bit too long. Like the players lingered around toilets for a bit too long. Because if they went like 5 or 10 seconds earlier, they would have only had to deal with 1 player. What the fuck is going on here? Let's go, Commando boys. Get fucked. Fox on SK. I think it's not gonna be as bad as like some people think. I think he's a good team player, and they can just, you know, fit him in the role. And like, you have to remember, he hasn't played like even individually since FaZe pretty much, so he needs time to get back into shape mechanically. So yeah, I think they're definitely still a big favorite to at least make like playoffs, and then depending on matchups they can go even further. So another big round for Hellraisers, not that much money in the bank, and now they switch it up for the first time, going aggressive towards long. Again with 3 players. This is what you see a lot of time. When you go for aggression, you pretty much send at least 3 players. Or 2 if it's going to be like connector, but Get Right just decides to peek. Like, this is a problem, right? You need to realize when you're going for these like aggressive setups or for a play on the CT side, if you're going for an information play on one side, you really should play it ultra safe on the other side, right? Just buy time for your teammates to make their move, right? To execute whatever they're going for. And you'll see it like here, they're obviously going towards long, so they're like waiting for contact, and then they're gonna push all the way. That's usually what happens when you have like 2 players with rifles. They usually buddy up and push. The upper rotates and maybe holds an angle towards toilets until they get contact. What that means is that these 2 players, basically, if they're like jumping for info in the beginning, after they see someone or after they hear the T's there, that's when they immediately start throwing smokes and molotovs to just buy time for this rotate to happen, to buy time for the flank to happen, right? If they're here, then you're buying time for the rotate. If they're not here, then your teammates are gonna make contact and the play is gonna happen on the other hand. If you just save stuff here and they come your way and you've been risking it and then you dive, and then this play is like completely negated. It's like nullified pretty much. So that's what I feel like you want to do. I mean, sure, Get Right like is super aggressive here, maybe unexpectedly so, but look, Sticko is like passing and not even paying attention to that. It's like completely unaware of the spot, so that's like a mistake. I have no idea what's like with all the Krieg stuff, man. I don't know, maybe it's actually a good gun, but you can't really know because no one's using it. So yeah, they're just gonna go for a save. That's the only thing they can go for pretty much. They can rebuy, I think, because of the amount of rounds. Oh, so they lost 1 more player in the end. Feels like this is where you, I don't know, in this type of scenario it also depends like how how confident are you in your T side? If you're confident, then you can like just eco one round and then buy the last round. But if you feel like you need to win like as many rounds as you can on the CT, then you like force up here. Because Tico can buy like an M4 and you can just go for another aggressive play, and like Angel can buy a UMP and all the nades. Oh, actually Bondic dropped. Yeah, they were trading like guns, so they decided to buy in the end. And again they go for this boost. But Gatrites has just been like wrecking them towards that B side. And that Fox lost the duel against Forest as well. This seems to just be a great read from NIP. They had Forest in the right spot, just waiting for that Fox. So yeah, Hellraisers went for that risk. They actually had 5 players towards B when you look at it, like 2 players in connector, 2 here and the upper here, and still they get picked off. Very interesting to see how they actually bring this back. So yeah, last round is pretty shit in terms of the buy. Fucking hell, this has 20 kills. I didn't even notice that. Where to download that map with the name of position? Simple Radar. Google it. There's a site and you have like all the active maps in there. And then you have the instructions as well. Right with RNG. Yeah, Renegades yesterday, even though it was like a shit game, I just think that their Dust 2 is like not that good in general. They still had to win that game though. Wait, fucking hell, what the fuck happened here? The commando is more accurate. I mean, it is, but it's like, you know, still like, do you know the spray parent as much? Is it as efficient at other ranges and all of that? So what does Hellraisers do here? Oh, they just go for straight up aggression. Just the good old running pistols and running UMPs. Get fucking CSGO. What changes do you think CLG need to make? They've been looking better at this like tournament. They threw away that game against Vega, then they like made the comeback against Renegades, but those are both like not that very strong teams. So I don't know if like leadership is a problem for them as well, like the way they approach the game. Seem to have talent, like Kusta has been playing better with the op as well. I'm not really sure. Can't really pinpoint it. Maybe like rejuvenate the lineup a little bit. Change some of the players. Okay. So a pretty passive pistol from Hellraiser, just waiting for a push and they're gonna get it. Get absolutely taken down. That's probably the worst thing in the world, that you're like just waiting for something like that and it comes and you just get fucked. So let's see how they deal. They're now, yeah, they're getting wrecked. I mean, after that happens, you realize that you lost all control here. Like, they know that you're nowhere near that area of the map. So before they can rotate, you try to beat them to the side, basically. You know that that's your pretty much only option, unless you really want to wait it out and go back. So they go for that push, but they just like die to Forest and Freiburg. Do you think there's cheating? Nope. Oh yeah, we're fast forwarding this shit. Okay. This is where, if I was watching the game live, I would probably think like the game is over at this point, because like NIP wins second pistol, they have like good economy, you know, Hellraisers need to win like 2 rounds in a row to reset them, and still then it's only like 11-9 for example. So yeah, very interested to see how they bring it back. NIP do decide like to stay on 2 UMPs in a scout. Basically try and make more bank even if they lose a round. So they do manage to get like control of long pretty early, and of toilets. Seems like they just want to go for a fast play towards A. NIP is rotating towards there. Yeah, it's like... Wow, he actually gets a headshot, that's sick. No need to do that, Forrest. What the fuck? They even lose this round and they still win? That's insane. How does this shit happen? They win the round with Deagles, maybe? Let's see. No. Fucking hell. What caused CLG to lose the game? I just think like they were outplayed in a number of rounds. I watched the game, but not as closely. Like CLG even won 2 ecos on their CT side. No, on their... Yeah, in one of the halves they won like 2, or in total in the game they won like 3 ecos, something ridiculous like that. And they still lose the game out. That just means that they were being like so outplayed in gun rounds. Vega did a good job of like being aggressive on their CT side, and a lot of times they had like a player on the flank for CLG, so CLG was like, could have done a better job in that regards, like executing faster or having someone watching out for the flank. So yeah, so far Hellraiser just going for a default, taking water control, and NIP had the boost, they just win that fight. That Fox with a good aggressive peek. Forrest manages to find the refrag. But I was just about to say like that this is good from Hellraiser. They're just waiting for someone to make a play. Forrest does go for it, but they are unable to like punish him for it. So now the execute comes in. This is how you want to approach it, right? You wait a little bit. Is someone gonna like make a play? Can you punish them for it? No? Okay, then we go into a proper execute, like use the utility we have, smoke smallies. That's like the best way for you to win the round, I think. Gonna do Tyloo next. I don't think I'm gonna have the time. Well, we'll try maybe to do one more game of theirs. Hey, they're playing Mouse. Imagine how fun it would be for me to do that game tomorrow. Mouse versus Tyloo. Hope it's gonna be an interesting game though. So yeah, this is a round where you would probably expect NIP to go for something aggressive, because like it's just after Hellraisers won a round from playing a small default. You feel like they're comfortable doing that, so you maybe want to force them out of their comfort zone with a more aggressive play. But it's not exactly what NIP is known for on their CT side, and I feel that's like where they have most room for improvement. To like be more versatile on their CT sides, on maps like Dust 2 as well. Like use Pyth more aggressively in some situations. Shish Plaskovic. Oof. Shish. Can I please save the VOD? Yeah, I think I fixed it for this one. It's gonna be up. Okay, so again, a methodical round from Hellraisers, just getting control of toilets. That's like a free kill. Oh. Where did he get him? Okay, I don't know, it has to be somewhere. What? Ah, okay. So yeah, another like free kill they get from a default. Forces like movement from NIP, and then they just go into another. Like, this is very good stuff. Always like, even with a man advantage, do a proper execute. If you have the utility, there's no reason for you not to throw the smokes, you know, here, not to throw the molotovs. No reason for you to think, oh, like, they only have one player here, you know, or whatever, let's just run in. Because you might be wrong, there might be two players, and then you're gonna get fucked. So, like, use your utility. You've done everything right, no reason not to do it. What? It's laggy again? I'm out of magic tricks. I don't know, I feel like for some, it just like randomly starts lagging. Yesterday it was fine, like all day long. Okay, so actually Hellraisers do it. They managed to force NIP on an eco round. So, fast forwarding this shit. I mean, this is still a... NIP is still in like a great spot. They have like 3-round lead, coming into another gun round, up on pit. You know, it's still like a lot of rounds to work with for them. A lot of shooting and shit happening. I mean, I do have like the native res and like some settings like very high up. Maybe for streaming I should tone that shit down. Maybe that would help. Let's see if this helps. Okay, so yet another slow, methodical round. This is like what I was talking about on the Mirage game, right? When you saw Dignitas on the CT side be more aggressive because Godsent was spread out. That's what NIP like needs to do, in my opinion, here against Hellraisers. Like, look, can try and pick off Sticko, like do that flash over and try to get zero. Maybe not in this situation when he has so many players in water, but you know, you get the point. They're playing so passive, that way Hellraisers get a lot of information about what's going on, and that way they can just, you know, make a call, go for one of their executes, which have been working great for them. And NIP, sure, they had like most of the guns they need, but look, they only left with 1 nade and 3 flashes. So, you know, no molotovs late on in the round, and it's like 45 seconds left. No, like, this is the second time that Fox just like is aggressive by himself. That was a team flash. That was a big blunder. But they're like, Hellraisers are stuck now. They need to find a way to get onto the bomb site. What? Did it just happen? He was alive. Yeah, this happened like in G2 Godsent game as well. Oh, still lag. Fucking hell. Okay, I'll restart after the round. I think it's like whenever it kinda alt tabs, it just starts lagging, so. Oh, 12 FPS, fuck it, let's stop it now. I just need to restart. Yeah, I don't know why that happens whenever I alt tab. Maybe because like stuff is on the second screen. I don't know. I'm not good at this shit yet. Yeah, resolution. I feel like it's like in CSGO, there's no reason for you not to play at the highest res, pretty much, because you just see much more detail, right? Most of the players that are using low res, it's because like in their old games they've used like, you know, shitty resolutions, because then it actually like kinda was different. But in CSGO, I feel it's only beneficial to play on a higher res. The only difference is whether you prefer like black bars or full screen. Yeah, I think the demo system could use an improvement. What do I think about Tai Lu? I have no fucking idea, man. Like Tai Lu was so shit. Um, they were so shit in their first game on Overpass. I had faith before that game. Then I thought they were just like, yeah, this team just sucks. And then they beat Cloud9 yesterday, and I wasn't watching that game, so I'm not really sure how it happened. So I really have no idea where to put them. Why do pros use black bars? Because like you were used to it, like the older players are used to it, because like the screens were almost 4:3, but also it like narrows your field of vision, right? Everything is like, because of the black bars you have like less of a picture to focus on. So like some players prefer that. It's not as big, you know, you don't need to move your eyes as much or your head. Come on, what's going on? Oh, I think I actually hit the right round. What monitor do you have? It's the 27-inch Asus PG278, I think. I got it like a couple of months ago when I got the new PC. I don't need like 24-inch anymore. Why? Okay, let's just do it like this. I think this will be faster. Good morning. Why do Renegades suck? I don't know, Chad, you tell me. You know them better than I do. This is a pain in the fucking ass, man. They need to work on this shit. RNG fans be like. Alright, so they fucked up that round because they got stuck after like Zero died here. He was their only player coming from Monster. He got team flash, died, and then they were like a bit hesitant to all come from this direction, from short. And they were just like waiting for Dead Folks to get another pick, but NIP just got like, they rotated and they got the kills. But still, a lot of money on Hellraisers. They still like put a lot of pressure on NIP's economy. So if they win this round, they still have a good chance of making it like to overtime, perhaps. I think this is just like a master plan from Renegades to get rid of all the French teams. Like first they have to beat like EnVyUs. Who are they playing? Who is RNG playing? Are they playing EnVyUs? Beat them, then like beat G2, beat them all. Third party, yeah, but it's not in-game. I can use like stats helix stuff that I use for my YouTube videos, but I don't know. Maybe this is like better for people to show them individual stuff from players as well. Oh, come on, what's happening here? Like everyone's dropping. Fuck off. Oh, C9. Wow. A domestic matchup, one would say. That's a tough one. They did play them in DreamHack Winter. Tyloo beat C9 yesterday. Oh, come on, guys. You're actually gonna play the fucking game. We got your money. Well, that's not good. That was a long fucking pause. Oh, there we go. Okay, so another buy round, and still, this is like my main issue with NIP. They keep going for these like same setups. You know, Forest by himself, Pit by himself, no aggression on the CT side. And it allows Hellraisers to do pretty much what they want. And they're going for a like very explosive play. This is a fake. And it does bait out Forest to move more aggressively. Oh, what is Pit doing? Why is he so far up? This is very ballsy. And he gets punished for it. And Angel also has forward positioning. I feel like, I mean, if that works, it looks fucking amazing and brilliant, but the issue I have with that play is it really necessary for you to go for it, right? Because you have like Forest died and you have info that it's a fake. You should probably just wonder you should probably just play more passive and buy time for your teammates, try to get a kill and survive. Yeah, like Renegades are so shit on Dust too. It's sad. I think if they play like maps like Cobble, they have a much better chance. I mean, if they can get it somehow. Was I surprised to see Godsent 2-0? Yes. Especially beating Dignitas. Okay, eco round, fuck this. DMN. I actually did an interview in Serbian a couple of weeks ago. I think you can find I talk in Serbian there if you really want to hear me speak Serbian. Yeah, man, I miss Brazil as well. Hopefully there'll be tournaments there next year too. Okay, so 14-12. Forest with the op again. Will he do something different this time around? No. Does the same thing Pith does, and Pith does the same thing Forest does. They just switch positions. I don't understand how NIP doesn't realize this themselves. I don't know what their thought process is. It probably is. They're probably thinking, okay, I mean, they make small adjustments like this with boosts, and this is like a pretty cool boost. But I feel like they should be able to realize, okay, guys, we need to change something up, and maybe this is their way of doing it, just like go for this boost, get a man advantage, and then they can keep on playing passive. But I just feel they need to be like more aggressive at times, especially against I think the problem is that way it's becoming a bit too predictable and easy to get exploited by other teams. Why does my voice sound so bad? I think I'm not used to talking this much without having a break. Oh fuck, I was looking at the chat. At least Forest gets 2 kills this time around. Let's just see how. Haven't done. I'll do predictions after the game. I have to see if I have time to do one more game or not. I think I might squeeze it in, but maybe like do it a bit faster. Is it possible it like takes this long to rewind, like 20 seconds? Why you like that? Yes. I don't know if I will be at the major. Haven't been asked yet.
Counter-terrorists win.
Okay. Okay, so he hears them jumping. But you really need to flash before you go for that. Yep. I mean, Sticko was afraid to peek earlier because he thought he might be holding that angle. But yeah, that was a bit sloppy from Hellraisers. They've been playing really well. I mean, outside of like, in the second half, outside of that. Oh, you mean my voice? Oh, you mean my accent is bad? Well, I'm not a native English speaker. That's why my voice sounds different than theirs. When is Kenny? I don't know. I don't think like it looks like the atmosphere in the team is not very good at the moment. So yeah, I'm not sure if that's gonna happen anytime soon. What is important to watch when you watch your own demos? Just like think about why did you make the decisions you did, and I think it's pretty obvious from rewatching your own stuff to see when you like made a clear mistake, and then just remember in that scenario I did A and I should do B instead, you know, and think about what you could have done better in that round. Could you have done anything better for your team to win the round, pretty much? Also look at your positioning depending on what's going on in the round. Like if your team has an advantage, are you playing too aggressive and then giving an advantage away? Stuff like that. Also keep an eye out for your crosshair placement when you're holding angles. Can it be better? Are you just running around with your crosshair like in the air or in the ground? Small stuff like that. Is this going to be a regular thing? I don't know. Like the problem is I really travel a lot right now. The season is pretty much over, so I'm at home. But usually I'm going to be on the road a lot, so we'll see. Tell people who talk shit, Yanko, to eat a fucking dick. Eat a fucking dick, you can't. I think Chad approves of this message. Okay, so 15-12, a strong buy for both teams, and this is where like again NIP, what a surprise. Same old, even the same boost. Yeah, this has been playing really well. Hellraisers actually switched the pace, changed the pace, which is very good from them. And again, that Fox is able, like after the initial exchange, get these kills with the AWP. Well, that shouldn't have happened, but alright. Oh, this is like the round they fuck up, right? I think someone tweeted this or something. Watch Forest. Okay. Yeah, I'll upload the VODs. Alright. 2v1, guys. The bomb is dropped. How do you fuck this up? He switches for an AK. Forest? What? I mean, the only thing can be like he made the call, let's just pick him together, because he thought like 100% even if he dies, Pyth gets the refrag. But it seems like he went behind the dildo, so Pyth couldn't see him. That's very strange. Yeah, I have no idea why he goes like for the jump. The problem is like while you're jumping, he can see you and you can't really like. There's no way you're gonna kill him or some shit, right? So he can like get that kill almost. You don't go for that jump unless you're 100% sure that your teammate can trade, and it feels like that's what Forrest thought. But let's look at it from this perspective, like. You see, right, at this moment, like, they saw the bomb as well. They should just, like, hug each other, basically. The problem is Pite has an op, so, like... Did he miss, like, an easy shot? What? I feel like this shouldn't take, like, 30 seconds to rewind 20 seconds of the round. Please. Please, game. Why is CLG the best team in the world? Because they counter all logic. That's the key. You never should use logic in esports. Everything is just the opposite. Oh, for fuck's sake, come on. I don't think I'm gonna be rewinding anymore. Just seems like pointless. Okay. Pits POE. Let's slow it down. So Forrest goes for the jump now. And he turns. Oh no. No. What? Did he like keep moving so he missed? Oh man. Honestly, from this perspective, this looks like it's fucking Pits round. The problem is, like, that move from Forrest is very like risky, so it had to be, if Forrest didn't communicate it properly, it's probably still his fault. But you feel like Pith really had to like hit that. Both times, even with the M4, you feel like he had enough time to win that battle. I mean, obviously, in hindsight, you can say, oh, but what if they both play passive and shit, but we never know. In this, like, decision they made, they still could have and probably should have won the round. Wow, that sucks. That's rough on Pith. Yeah, so an eco round, fuck that. So this is how it goes to fucking overtime, yeah. They have a shit buy. Okay, not a foolish shit buy, but no op. Won't stop them from doing what they've been doing all the time. Yeah, and you can see, I mean, if you call it, you can see how, you could see on X-ray that that Fox didn't turn, so it you know, served the point that it drew his attention away from Pit. He just didn't get the kill. And that's Counter-Strike for you guys. Sometimes you just miss your shot and you fuck up and you lose the game, and it's depressing. They really like this boost, man. I don't know if they probably didn't get a kill yet or something, so they just keep using it until they sell it. So very slow-paced play from Hellraisers, which is probably a good call, knowing that NIP probably won't have all of their nades, but they still have a lot of flashes. What? Oh god. That could have been huge. I mean, just another, like, good execute from Hellraisers. That's the problem. Like, okay, maybe NIP doesn't know this because they don't see Hellraisers play a lot, but imagine you play a team like Navi, for example, the old Navi, right? You play them on train, and the reason why SK was able to beat Navi on train because they were really aggressive on their CT sides, they would send like Call Zero Ali with the op, Ivy, and sometimes Fallen towards B apps, and they would get like picks early on, and they would like break their default, right? They would force Navi to change things, to adapt. But Hellraisers are playing in a similar way right now on Overpass, and you need like to be aggressive, you need to disrupt them, because they apparently seem to be like very good if you just let them play their own game. Yeah. And now this is like so funny. Like, I've been raving like the whole half about how they should be more aggressive. He goes more aggressive and he just gets his head blown off by that fox. Which doesn't make it a bad move, it's just like he got wrecked. I think Dennis with 2 ends is way cooler. So after they get the initial kill, and they know it's an op, they just like group up towards long, they use the range, they have 2 players on the, you know, waiting for a flank, just they don't want to, you know, lose map control, get flanked while they want to do their execute. And this is very good as well, because with this, they can also, like, right now they can fake. And NIP in a position when they're 4v5, they basically have to take some risks, so they'll probably over-rotate in that scenario. I mean, in general, teams would, perhaps not NIP, because they're one of those teams that just don't care. They might just stick with like a 2-2 setup until they get contact, see the bomb or something. Okay. Why are they moving away from B? Once, like, it feels like NIP's communication is lacking a little bit at this point, because Forest gets the kill and they clear out long. Were there like nades falling here? Were they faking from somewhere? I'm not sure, but I don't think there was like any reason for them to start moving away from B. And they didn't even move that much. They just started slightly rotating, and basically they just got out of position enough at a bad moment when Hellraisers were pushing the bomb site, so that they lost their position and lost ground, and Hellraisers could get into the bomb site fairly easily. So that was round 1. And you can see the problem, like, even with 10k in overtime, they're out money after another full buy NIP. So if they lose this, they're just down to pistols. What would you do to make Mouse great again? Disband the team and buy Astralis? So more aggressive play from Hellraisers towards long. This time around, like, Pit is more passive and is in a good position to get a kill. So now it's more tricky for Hellraisers. You know, compared to the last round, they have no one here, so they have no idea if someone's on the flank. So that way, if they want to go back, they have to do that with like the majority of their players, so that if they like get contact, they can get the trade at least. Angel is trying to keep them occupied towards A so they can't rotate, but this is taking a long time. NIP should have a good idea what's coming. That was good timing for a pop flash. And this is where they can start rotating. Yeah, that was just like, after that initial kill, you can see the problem with losing map control. You feel like forced to make a play, and that's like good stuff from NIP. They like realize that there's no action on long, and they pick a good time to pop flash for info. And after they get that info, even though Freiburg doesn't get like the kill after the flash, you know, players can start rotating in, and they can just be in a better position to defend. So 1-1, very important for NIP, seeing as how their economy was weak. It still exists this force to play with an UFP. Perhaps you wonder if he should have the M4 because he's been playing so well, but it also depends on the position. He's close range here, so he can make do with the UMP as well. He panicked a little bit there. If he didn't start firing while he was blind, he might have like caught them off guard. But I mean, when you play, it's you always think that someone's gonna check your spot, so you try to get lucky and get a kill while flashed. And it's a very interesting approach from Hellraisers, right? Because in the regulation period, they've been doing so well with like the slow play into an execute. And sure, it would have probably worked for them even here, but they think that, you know, when you come to overtime, that's when like people adjust to what you've been doing, so they like feel like they need to be one step ahead and just like change the pace. Nip optic, I'm not sure. I wanna say Nip, but I've been you know, predicting against optic whenever they're playing a strong team, and they almost always like prove me wrong. So they're probably gonna win because of that. They just feel like a team that keeps getting underestimated in a sense, you know, when they play against some of the tier 1 teams, you know. I don't think many people would bet against them even now if they play a team like NIP or VP or Astralis. How to get stats helix working? I'm not sure if it's public yet, so maybe you just can't. I missed that? What the fuck? Oh, I have to rewind it, don't I? Wait, what? NIP won that round? What's that? Oh, fucking hell. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Let's see what's up. I think it just tells you how unlikely that clutch was because I wasn't even paying attention. I thought that was a fucking done deal. Oh, right. Someone tweeted this out as well. Yeah, I saw it yesterday. I just forgot about it. RIP. Yeah, it's a good thing rewinding demos is so easy. Oh, I remember what he did. He jumped towards short and he got like, yeah, the one bullet on both of them. I remember now. Imagine like how fucking shitty that feels if you're Hellraisers. Of course I fucking rewinded like the 1 second too late or some shit. But I mean, I remember this round. Yeah, that was like pretty sick decision from Forest. I think they wanted to be a step ahead of him in a sense that, you know, he knew where both players were individually, so they didn't want to split up. They wanted to rotate so that they were together because he wouldn't expect, like, after he gets perhaps the first kill, he wouldn't expect the second player to be there, so he could like be the bait for the other one. But Forest just like really hunts for the player that he thought was water and like gets honestly a bit lucky with getting like the collateral as well. So yeah, so fucking hell, that's heartbreaking for Hellraisers. Like, props to them for being able to come back after losing a round like that. What would they change about the demos? I would probably just make it very, like, make it easier, fucking smoother to rewind shit. I don't know. I mean, I don't know the mechanics behind it or why does this take so long and everything. I feel it should be made way easier, you know, just have options to rewind. We have the round thing, but also like 10 seconds and that stuff. Actually, the rewinding is the only problem. Like, the rest of the things are okay. Maybe also have it in options, so that you're able to like set binds in controls for demos. Okay, so NIP with very slow play of their own. Oh, that's like tough shot to miss. I mean, you also, he's kind of committed at that point. He doesn't have any cover from long. But yeah, I mean, in that situation, it's like good that he manages to get that, at least that one kill after he missed that shot. Mouse, Tyloo. I have to go with Mouse. I mean, I didn't see Tyloo's second game, but in the first game, they were really underwhelming. What's going on here? Someone has to go ham here for Hellraisers if they win this round. And that's Sticko. Or Angel. They had no idea he's here. He maybe should have like reacted sooner, but he wins the round. That's the most important thing. A bit ballsy from Xist to go for that duel. I always hate that shit. Like, I always feel like when I try to watch over like peek over a Molotov or something, that I never see shit and like people see me all the time. I probably just suck at it. It seemed like for some reason, at some point, like it randomly starts lagging for a couple of seconds or a minute, and then it's fine. So I don't know why is that. Yeah, so this was like good change of, like, you know, change of a setup from Hellraisers being more aggressive towards water, because they realized that usually it was like Get Right by himself taking control of that, so why not just group up and take him out? So there was a bit more action, but they still managed to get on top, to come out on top. So yeah, NIP decides to try and like go behind Forest, let him try and find an opening, but they get shut down. And now it's like tricky for them. I mean, Forest has to go for a pistol. Just like send it with like dot or something. I mean, spell everything or something like that. Or tell him like the name of it so he can Google it. I can't alt tab now. It will just lag even more. I don't know if that Shadow.gg stuff is public yet. Shadow.gg. We use that at Faceit. Okay, so last round perhaps, or it is if I remember the score. NIP, weak buy, not a lot of nades. They do manage to like... Okay, they're now gonna get control of toilets. They have pretty good control of long from Forest. So this is where, if I was Hellraisers, I would just save these Molotovs. Because you feel like NIP can't afford to like go for a fake with this type of a buy. So just save the Molotovs for the execute when it comes in, the incendiaries, and... Yeah, that was like... Bit lucky on the timing for Bondik, but it works out. Good nade. Yeah, they've just been having like really good reads on the CT side when you look at it. I mean, good reads. Oh, they've been switching things up. You look at NIP, it's always the same. It's always like one player here, boost, and another player here. Something of the sorts, right? Or maybe that's pretty much it. Well, Hellraisers sometimes that Fox aggressive. Sometimes they send like 3 players here with Angel, like baiting for Angel. Sometimes they're aggressive towards water, right? And when you do that, even if it doesn't work every time, the T's have to like adjust for it. They have to compensate in a way that You know, they can't, when you play against NIP, you know that if you just like throw a flash initially and chase them off, they're gonna go towards the site. And you can save a lot of utility, and it's easier for you to run fakes and similar things. So, you know, that's why I think that's the biggest like thing that they can improve on is be more versatile in their CT side, especially in terms of aggression. Yeah, I think the NIP killer more than anything else is Angel. Not even a team, it's just Angel. Hey, Krebsig. So, okay. Why is it dying? Game. Okay, so I'm gonna go and see if I have time for one more game. I have to like, I'm probably gonna like do it at least if I have to do it more quickly, like not as detailed, but I have to like make a call or two. So I'm gonna run some ads, like 5 minutes or so, and then I'll be back with probably EnVy versus G2 or something. So yeah, be right back, guys. Ja bi u principu, jel ti onda odgovara za nekih šupu vremena možda tako nešto negde da se organizujemo, da se nađemo, jer ja ovde bi odradio još jednu mapu ili u stvari da govorim ako malo da iskoristim. Ja se neki sat vremena, ti samo pusti stavi poruku na WhatsApp ili nešto, da će tad negde da imamo, što se ja čuo s njim, on isto bi gledao. Može. Ćao. Okay, we can do one more. Oh, everyone's raving about this background, man. Let me try and find it. Keep asking some questions while I like while I try to find it. I don't even remember. I just like looked for the resolution on a site, and I was just browsing until I like found something that looked good. Let's try some filters. General? No. Predictions for today's games. Which anime will make you good at CSGO? Attack on Titan. That's the only one I know. I'll do predictions after the last game. So... yeah, I can't deal with this now. Like, it's too hard to find it. I'll just post it somewhere or have it ready for the stream tomorrow. Something like that. So... let me just change the name of the demo so it doesn't fuck up. Just make a tweet, get more people in. G2 over at Twitch. Okay, so G2 EnVy, the Frenchies domestic matchup. They always say how they hate playing against each other because they know each other so well. And one of the maps where Smith is actually very, very good on. As we can see from the pistol round, holy shit. 2 good kills. It's very uncharacteristic, like, for people to go aggressive in long tunnels. And this is like also tricky. I mean, Shocks, he thinks like he has good timing, so he goes for that push. Doesn't think someone will be waiting for him, but they already have you know, an advantage. Maybe there's no reason for him to actually push that. And now from a 4v3, they're in a 2v3. So yeah. And Scream is nowhere near to help out RPK, so... what started off great, looks like shit. Juventus Roma, samo Juve. Does he have the time? He does. Wow. It feels like, I mean, perhaps Happy is there expecting someone to be in CT, but he could have had a much better spot to play from where he could have played around his teammates more. This way he's like If he gets a kill, great. If not, he's useless. I think Optic can still make it even if they lose to NIP. So yeah, I'm gonna fast forward these rounds. Even though it's like Envy and Force Buys, I saw that they didn't convert, so we'll just focus more on the gun rounds. What's going on here? Technical issues. Alright, let's just let it play out. So G2 play for the retake, and we gets the bomb down, which enables Kenny to have the op. I tweeted the wrong link, for fuck's sake, really? What did I tweet? Of course. Fucking hell. Alright, so G2 being a bit more aggressive early on, which shocks the op towards long. This is a very good like position. If you like don't get contact before that, it's very powerful. So Smith's on the rifle by himself in the bomb site. That's hard to hold, but with a rifle, with a UMP. So it seems like EnVyUs is just setting up for like A execute and A go with all the smokes and everything. And that maybe they're expecting Smiths actually to have the op at car, so that execute is very powerful against that setup. And this is like good play from G2. They like don't hear anything for a while. They realize, you know, they're probably setting up for something, so a great pop flash to explode out of A long. And then they can just like rotate over to Cat and they basically like demolish and win this round. How's it going? It's going alright. You think C9 will make it? It's hard. It's hard to say like all the teams like Envy and C9 and like Optic or NIP, whoever loses. You know, they're gonna have to play each other at some point for the last spot, so I don't know how C9 lost to Tyloo. I need to like at least try to, you know, go over that game real quick. Because that seemed like it couldn't happen in my eyes. Yeah, another eco round. Let's fast forward that. Yeah, I just started streaming like yesterday was my first stream. Didn't even have a title or the VOD's enabled, so I'm already improving by a large margin. Do you think RNG could win with the C9? Of course they can, just not if they played us too. But I think the bigger problem is they, after the losses that they've had, especially against CLG, I think they really feel down on themselves. My favorite player to watch right now, Device. I really like the way he like plays with the op on the CT side, how he moves. I think it's a great way to play if you're a single opper, a solo opper. Okay, so let's see. 5-0 down for Envy. They really need to get some rounds on the board. Kenny has the AWP. They're spread around in a default. G2 again going for a play with shocks. Like first gun round he was aggressive towards long. Now he's aggressive towards B. So they're really using him, like when they want to play the op aggressively, they use it on him instead of Smiths because he's probably just more comfortable with it. And this is also a, you know, stacking B, obviously a good setup if they go for a mid to B split. I'll look like into the predictions and maps like a little bit after I finish this game. So again, G2 like with a reactive play. This is just like, these are like the small mistakes, right? You feel like when you go for a push like this, which is like, alright, you get flashed in, you want to check like tunnels, but Scream was here while Body was here. You need to have both players right next to each other so that if Scream like goes all the way and gets killed by Happy, who's here, that Body can immediately trade, right? That's like the point of sending 2 players there. Sure, maybe you have body like waiting for this angle if someone peeks, but I think this is like a better call to do. And if he gets the trade, it's a much more different story because they would have a man advantage right now, and instead of that they're in a 4v4, which is a good situation for the terrorists. You can see how cities have to take a risk. They can't hold both long and cat with just 2 players. Do you think pros cheat? No. I think Mouse has been very lucky with their draw so far, yes. Doesn't mean they're gonna qualify though still. If they beat Tyloo, they'll have some tough matchups, I think. So Heavy gets the bomb down. This is basically a round they have to win. They have 2 Molotovs as well, so they should be fine. Like, they can throw one on the bomb. This is where maybe G2... Yeah, this is where they should just try and save. Like, try and get a couple of kills. But I mean, they go for it. They have a lot of money in the bank, so why not? I don't think Nico is like, his era is over. He's been playing better in the first half than now. I think it's because they try to play more as a team than just rely on him. So he took like a step back. He's not aggressive as he was before. So he did have a dip in performance the last couple of tournaments. But I still think like for 2016 he's like been the top 5 player. Okay, another buy round. And we just got some like breathing room, and they keep going like for these defaults. Didn't decide like to go for a fast stay long push or something. Maybe didn't have the spawn yet. This is like, they used to do this like in Titan as far as I remember. This is like a great pop flash. But you see, Apex is like waiting for it, his turn. So I don't know if this is like something they do all the time, or this is like specifically for G2 because they know that they have these pop flash setups. So that was big. And that's something you always want to go for, right? If you have 2 players there, that happens like outside Banana in Inferno as well. I mean, outside B in Banana. There's no reason for both players to hold that corner. One should be turned around in case of a pop flash, so then he can trade kills. What does Thorin smell like? Skrilla. And this is like a very weird setup right now. This is like, you know, so reliant on aim and hitting your first shot. And that's the problem when you don't go for long control and you lose cat as well in a sense. So they feel pressured to make a move, and it's a good decision to try and take cat. So yeah, it's been like a good play from G2. Unfortunately, they still like get chased out of the site, but that's like the best thing you can do if you're, you know, caught in the middle of nowhere on A, don't have cat or long. You need to pick like a side and try to regain control of it. Otherwise, if you just get pinched from both sides, you have nowhere to hide, so you are going to get overrun. So usually people go for cat because it's like closer and a bit safer. So yeah, they did a good job refragging, but got fucked after that. So yeah, another play out of a default. They basically just countered G2's setup, and G2 actually doesn't force here, even though they have players with like 4500. They go for pistols, really wanting those ops. Stanislav is not long lost at all. We've been brothers for forever. I've been supporting him in his career. Do you think EnVy will still qualify? I don't know, it's tough. I don't think they'll win all 3 games. I think they won't qualify. Okay, yeah, let's fast forward this. Fuck it. Forgot that, boys. Sorry. Okay, so an actual gun round. I'm expecting like at some point EnVy to try and switch things up. They also haven't really gone for a B split. So maybe in a round like this is where you try to throw some stuff towards A, maybe towards long, so you like keep the attention of the CTs here, and then walk out players mid. Maybe have Kenny with the op trying to find a pick, and have 1 or 2 players just waiting around in tunnels to react. So he actually went for the long peek. Seems like he had a good spawn. And it seems like they're perfectly satisfied with this slower pace style. Tariq versus Rush. Rush. I like Rush. Seems like an NA version of Rain in some way. Who is the best player of 2016? I don't know. There's like no one has been like consistently good throughout the year. I mean, Cold Zero and Device have, but their teams have had mixed success in different periods. Simple has also been very good when Navi was like in Navi and Liquid. So yeah, you can see that G2 is not afraid at all of like going for these information plays, which is a good thing, but you know, you just have to be careful about not being too predictable, like that the teams know that you're going to do that in a certain scenario every time. But yeah, Shox caught a little bit off guard in mid, and yeah, after that initial trade in B tunnels, seems like he was maybe talking with someone on TeamSpeak, wasn't really focused on his crosshair as much, and that's a weird angle to hold as well. Yeah, Stanislav is my younger brother. Is this going to be a save or what? They should save, I mean. They don't have time. They're trying to go for a ninja. Oh god. Is this gonna work? Oh, RPK. Oh, RPK, you fucked up. Oh, you fucked up, son. Why did he fucking... Seems like he was lost. I'm not gonna rewind it, but it seems like he hit a box, or he was like maybe waiting for someone to peek out of Sniper's Nest. But I feel if he didn't bug himself out in movement, he would have had time to defuse. That's actually a very interesting call from G2 to go for that. Not something everyone would expect them to save. And that should have worked actually, but yeah, a small mistake from RPK. So yeah, I mean, this is not really an eco, so maybe we can like keep watching it. The problem with these rounds is, with the AWP in play, it's much more difficult to play against this round, right? You don't know really where the AWP can be. He can be like aggressive cat, aggressive long, mid, B, so you need to account for that. And also you have to account that the rest of the team has probably pistols, so you don't really want to rush B, for example, with close range. You don't know what utility they have, so basically you kind of need to play it as a gun round. You need to be like methodical, not take like unnecessary risks. Do I think Gami can retain a legend spot? Yes, I think they can, depending on the group, if they don't have like too tough of a group. Yeah, groups can get weird at the major because of seeding. Yeah, let's just fast forward this now. Okay, so EnVy winning 5 rounds in a row. This is also an issue for G2 in a sense that EnVy hasn't been doing anything like spectacular. They've been running the same default all the time. And if you get beaten by something that, you know, repeatedly being beaten by something that's not changing, you might feel like you don't know how to counter it. But I do feel that like G2 did a good job. Like this aggression is very good against the style of play that EnVyUs is running. But, you know, this is a bit... It just seems like they're a bit too eager. I don't know why they are so keen on being aggressive early on, right? There's still like 1 minute and 20 seconds on the clock. What makes you think that there's not gonna be anyone here? Or why not send the other player with body again so that he can at least trade? You know, that's a bit weird. Because they run a default, you're expecting it to be slow and methodical, right? You don't expect it to be something like reckless. Will Existence join the next super team? I don't think so. I think like a bunch of players don't really want to play with him and under his style, but you never know. Can Fnatic get Legend? Sure, why not? Who do you think will qualify? I'll go over it after this game. I'll touch on predictions a little bit, even though I fucking hate the shit out of them. Oh, I didn't like fast forward it all the way. How did that happen? RPK got some good kills, what? Yeah, I think like this, the whole seeding thing, I don't necessarily think like Dota is, like their system is also like perfect, because it has a lot of uncertainty, right? You have no idea whether you're gonna get invited or not. So I think our system is fine. It's just that a legend spot should guarantee you a spot at the next major, but not the high seed. I think there should be, coming into the major, there should be reseeding done. So let's say, flip side, just because they're legends, they shouldn't be like a number 2 seed. You know, I think that's fair. I mean, not just flip side, like any team. Teams just change, so that would like, because now you have a vicious circle. You could have another group of death and another shit group as well, which is something you don't want, obviously. So yeah, basically RPK just had a sick hold. Happy lurking again. Okay. I don't know when they're going to draw the groups. What do I think about Tabs? And I think he's a good player. I think it could be a good upgrade for Mouse instead of Dennis, for example. Like, I think he could play that role. Okay, so this is where like EnVyUs willing to be a bit more aggressive towards B. Usually they weren't like this aggressive in the beginning, but still they're again spread out all around the map. It seems like their game plan is like they know that G2 likes to take initiative on the CT side, so it seems like they're thinking, okay, let's just wait for them to make a move. We think we know which move they're going to make, and that way we can like get advantages without us having to make a play, pretty much. I haven't really paid much attention to Alu specifically on Overpass. Might just be a map that he doesn't like playing as much, so he's like getting used to, you know, having to play it very often. What do you think Optic changed? I don't know, it's hard to answer. I think they got confidence from good results. And it does seem like they are able to play a multiple of maps. So yeah, I still want to see Optic like beat teams like VP in a best of 3, you know, like NIP. I still want to see them do more. So I think EnVyUs should disband. I think if they don't qualify, I think they're definitely going to want to make changes, especially if G2 doesn't qualify or if they like drop out of the groups at the major. Okay, so that round was pretty much like just after that initial like trade, them deciding to group up on B and get like the favorable trade there. It's hard to hold when you don't have like a pop flash or a molotov or something to stop them to just run out, because if they swarm out of tunnels, you know, they can go out so many different directions. Like it's hard for you to hold like one angle and just defend the bomb site. So oh, that was sick. Yeah, I mean, this is, they just buy auto snipers and everything because they have the money, so they can try and get some initial damage. Happy tries to get a pick on long, and again, is that spread out style. I think there wasn't a round where they tried to like run out long or something like that. Definitely had a way they wanted to play specifically against G2. I feel like best team at this very moment is probably Astralis, but you can't really answer that question because, you know, ideally you would want a tournament with like all the best teams and they would like face each other. and then you could really see who fares like well against who. You know, maybe you have like VP loses to Dignitas, but like VP beats Astralis and Astralis beats Dignitas. You know, you have like teams being like having favorable matchups or something like that. Cloud9 changes. I don't think they need any changes. I think a problem with a lot of teams is that they didn't have as much time to practice because of all the tournaments. Oh yeah, I remember this. I actually saw this live. I mean, this is like, you know, what do you do against that? Basically, the player in the pencil should have had like first contact, so that like Kenny has to pay attention to him, but regardless, like you can't really defend against that. That was just a 6 shot, and after that there's no crossfire, so everyone can just focus on this one guy and he gets wrecked. Did I type this? Yeah. Phase better with Kerrigan, need more time to practice as well. I have no idea what Tense is going to do. I think they're gonna try and make a team around like that young guy, Aleski or something, because they don't really have like, you know, that many experienced players. I think they tried that a lot of times and it just didn't work out. Why is this paused? Let's go. So yeah, considering like EnVy were down 5-0, they managed to like bring it back to 9-1. So that's like pretty sick performance from them. As G2 just goes like for a straight B rush. B rush, no stop. I think NIP will qualify. Oh, that was sick. So yeah, this was basically necessary for G2 to, you know, still have a foot in the game. They needed this pistol round. I think, yeah, this is where Smith gets 2 sick kills with a scout. He's been playing really well. I mean, he's top fragging for the team, so he's been having a great game so far. No, I think like if you get a I meant legend as in legend spot, like top 8 from the previous major. They deserve the invite, but not like the seed. There should be reseeding done. NIP fucked up. They lost a legit best of 3 against Flipside, so there's you know, nothing to talk about there. They just lost up straight fair and square, and they have to go through the qualifying process now. So first gun round, Kenny on the op, 6er on the UMP. G2 going for a fast mid play, no? Okay, they just want to get up Cat safely. So G2 has this style where they switch between having like a full A execute with like smokes and everything, Molotovs, and having a more like explosive playstyle where Shox is perhaps on one side by himself, you know, trying to draw attention and draw rotations from the CTs, and the rest of the team just explodes on the other side. So we'll see how they approach it this time around against EnVy. I mean, it can be dangerous for NIP and Optic if, you know, because one of them will go 1-2, but I feel both teams are, you know, strong enough to still make it, like to still win the last 2 maps. So yeah, this is an interesting setup because you do this so you can get both like in CT if you want, or you can try and like challenge towards B. Shox goes for the challenge but doesn't really like do any damage almost to MBK. Then like they go pretty much 1 by 1. What I dislike about this is, okay, so what happens? Shox is by himself, 2 smokes, he challenges here, Body as well is with him, and there's like 2 players here. It was RPK and Smiths, but he's like was further back, and Scream is still on long. Like if you're gonna go if you're gonna challenge us from here, then it's fine. You can like do that and fall back. But if you're gonna go all the way towards door or window and you're gonna have a player push from tunnels, then there's no need for Scream to wait for a flank, right? He needs to be with the team because at that point you're super committed. You need to like get everyone close to the bomb site so you can get entrance to the bomb site. I mean, what's Scream gonna do now? He's completely useless. Smiths as well. I mean, they do have the bomb, so in theory they can still like wrap around to the other side or something, but I just feel like if you're gonna commit that much, you need to have more players there. You know, and even Smiths like gets the bomb and just challenges by himself. They could have still tried to like go back. It was a 2v3. It's not like, you know, that's not like unwinnable. But yeah, they still have a lot of money to buy, so you can see Shocks being like super aggressive. Wait, this was their own Molotov. I know like rewinding sucks, guys, but I need to do this. Because if it was their own Molotov, it's a pretty cool trick. I mean, a trick, it's like, you know, why would you throw it? Like, the CTs should expect something to be wrong. I don't even think you like do it to stop the smoke. If they throw like the long smoke from car or from the elevator box.
Counter-terrorists win.
So who's there? Okay, this is like way too slow. Oh, it's not. Why did I think it's... Oh, it was the flash that was from the tease. Okay. So yeah. Shocks goes by himself. Catches Happy off guard. Like, you have to be... I feel like if you're Happy, you have to be more careful. And I'm not sure how he didn't hear Shocks burn. But yeah. And this is what I was talking about. Shocks by himself goes, creates an opening. The rest of the team explodes. But Sixer and MBK just like... were ready for it. They had a good hold, hit the initial shots, and basically the round falls apart for G2. And this is where it's dangerous, because this is where Envy got their foot back into the game. Like, they have a good economy, a good buy, the op on Kenny, but still G2 scrapes a buy, and they actually go for double op, which is very surprising. Like, when your money is low, you decide to go for double op on the T side. Like, that's where you're really committed on making those picks, because it's hard to push like a bomb site with 2 ops. You know, you need the rifles to push in first and get entrance into the bomb site. Sure, it can be useful after you plant the bomb and hold long range, but yeah. How they get the map with the callouts? It's a simple radar. Just Google it. You can have it for all of the active duty maps. Thoughts to CLG's comeback yesterday. I think Renegades were too complacent. They thought they won the game already, and they threw away a couple of rounds, and after that they started like, the pressure got to them. They lost that 3v2 round on B and a couple of silly rounds. That's a sick shot. Still gets wrecked. You see, right? This is what it comes down to. Mostly with these two teams in general, not just when they play each other. There's a lot of like, you know, aim battles, aim duels and stuff. Dependent on whether the players will like hit the initial shot or not. They go in like dry for a contact play. Smiths again, like a lot of impact. Like 2 kills in a round where they're like, you know, gonna have to eco if they lose it. So big stuff from him. I mean, it's G2's best map, Dust 2. They haven't been that strong on it lately, but it's been EnVyUs' best map as well. So what are you gonna do? I mean, you know, what are you gonna go for? I think it's just a matter of them feeling like confident they can take them on Dust 2, which is not a bad thing. That was close, but G2 manages to win it. So Envy didn't force in the previous round, so they have enough money for an op on Kenny, but Shocks has a good spawn, gets the kill on Apex. I mean, that's what Dust 2 enables you to do, right? You can use your spawns to try and make plays early on and, you know, get an advantage pretty easily without doing all too much, right? It's much more difficult to do that, you know, on a map like Cobble, for example. Seems like they want to go for another like contact play on B, and again they have like we have two players here, so most of the time like G2 has been running into a not a stack but into like a good setup. Yeah, this is the problem, like even with that setup, even if MBK gets that one kill, he gets traded for sure. Like he doesn't get more than that one kill on RPK, and that just doesn't seem to be like enough. That's why you see G2 on their city side, they're proactive, right? They try to get map control, they're more aggressive because they realize it's like it can be pretty difficult to hold even if you have two players in the bomb site. What map would I replace with Inferno? I think Cobble needs more work. I think it's too T-sided in a sense. Like there's not much the CTs can do. Alright, let's just fast forward this. Let's get this game over with so then like I can answer some questions and prediction stuff and all that. What was that? So yeah, similar stuff from G2. It feels like they wanted to get fast cat control by throwing stuff on long and keeping like the long players occupied. So maybe Shox can sneak through cat or something, but MBK spotted him, so I think he decided against it. And yeah, we haven't seen a lot of aggression for Envy. That's the problem. I mean, they've been having to struggle with their economy, but we haven't seen like Kenny boosted up cat or, you know, something like that. They've been mostly playing like the passive setups, 2 inside B, 3 towards A. Oh, do they know this? Oh yeah, that's actually like, I don't... Shox gets like a great jump. And you can see again like Shox going for a play and like the rest of the team basically being on the other side. But that was like a sick hold from Sixer. They actually had like good entry points, but Sixer had a very, very good hold. Now they have a double up setup, and this is like a very, very swing round. You can see, you feel like whoever wins this round wins the game, because both teams would probably have to eco after this, and that would put like Envy on 15 or Envy on 14 and G2 on 15. So G2, another like slow paced play, checking mid. Now they're gonna get cat control. Apex is in CT. They like, now Ken is more aggressive but towards long instead of towards cat. I feel cat is the better option, so we'll see what they decide to go for. Now they shift focus towards he shifts focus towards cat. G2 throwing like the mid smokes again. Seems like Shox is gonna run out, and they are switching towards long. This is a good call because almost no one has like 2 players on long late into the round, right? You have to turn towards cat. You are out of utility, like out of smokes on cat. So Shox is like now there by himself. They denied some vision, and the problem with this position from Happy, he cannot get like more than 2 kills. I feel like best case 2 kills, and I think that's why you see people playing in pit, right? Because if you're in pit and you have like the majority of the players coming your way, then you can have support from the player on cat, and then you can like leave cat. If they have like 3 players on long, you deal with them and then you play the retake. This way he like gets 1 kill and dies. They don't have cat control. They lost long control. Kenny's in the middle of nowhere. He probably has to fall back, and you know, sure, you can still like go for a 4v5 retake on A if you have the nades, but Just seems like something that's hard to pull off. Do you have a girlfriend? No, I just have bitches. I mean, you say like Kenny made a mistake, but he's really like, he has nowhere to go. It's a question whether he gets info quick enough that there's like 4 players on long. You know, he needs to make a decision. If it's split, he's like in the middle of nowhere and he's just gonna die. I think the French will shuffle, even if they make the qualifier, even if they make the major, but drop out of groups. I don't know, like FaZe VP at T-League. I mean, VP chose not to attend tournaments so they could prepare, so I didn't watch that game. I'm not sure what exactly happened, but I think it was a legit win. No reason to think otherwise. Moses. Yeah, I've been to Portugal once actually, but I was a kid, like I was with my parents. I like Portuguese, like the language. Okay, so perhaps the last round. Shocks again, good spawn, going towards long. No reason for him not to go for this. He gets the kill once again. I mean, there's been so many rounds, maybe not so many, but there's been like a couple of, you know, gun rounds where G2 just gets a kill from Shocks, like being aggressive early. I don't know, this feels like a weird game in some sense, right? You look at the first half, EnVy just going for defaults, had a bad start, but then like G2 played into their hand. Second half, it's like a lot of rounds, you don't feel like there were that many clutch rounds, right? It feels like teams were winning rounds cleanly on both sides, so that's not something you see very often, to be honest. And again, like this time actually they use some of their utility, which is like a good thing. They force out the player with the molly when they want to go B. With the elite group stage also be Swiss, I think so. I think someone like tweeted about it from Turner. I'm not 100% sure though. Do I think happy is the problem? Not necessarily. I think the team is like, I think they're getting a bit frustrated with his style of play. Because like, I don't think he's a baiter like per se. I think it's just that his style of lurking is very specific. Like he's the type of player, he's on a very like long lurk. So if he like, if his team gets into the bomb site, that style is like probably the best for him to close out the round, right? But if his team doesn't get into the bomb site, it feels like there's nothing he can do to help them out pretty much. So maybe he should try and, you know, adjust a little bit and be more aggressive at times, be closer to the team. Yeah, VP is in the major. I'll do the same thing tomorrow. I'll just pick out like 2 or 3 couple of games and do the same thing tomorrow at the same time pretty much. What do I think about Fox? I think he's like a good team player. I think he'll do an okay job in SK. Could team play make up for a lack of skill? Could team with worse players than your opponents with games they play? I think they can. The problem is you need to have some level of mechanical skill at least, right? You can't have your... Okay, please. I need to do this. You can't be like way worse than your opponents and just hope on team play, because what team play gets you is you put yourself in favorable situations, right? You get favorable duels for your teammates, and if you can't win like a 70-30 battle that goes your way, then you know no amount of team play is gonna help you. So I think structure always beats like a looser play style if the team like that plays a loose play style isn't like way more skilled. Is this your first stream? No, second stream. Wouldn't you say happy that's looking good for the team? Yeah, but I mean, it all depends on the way you look at it. If even if they get into the bomb site, but it's still a 3v3, that's not like a secure round for the T's. That's where he can like make it secure. So why do you think FNX left SK? I think it was, I mean, removed. It was like personal issues or something. I don't know. Motivation, perhaps. Favorite player to watch? Device. Godsent, can they win a major? I don't think they can like win the major yet. I think that would be like a big upset. I think they can make legends with a good group, but I don't think they can win. Do I think movement is important? Yes. I think like what you need to look out for is how you peek, right? You need to like learn when to shoulder peek, like do the jiggle peeking, when to like go for a wide peek, how to hold angles, you know, to predict movement from your opponents as well. Best way is maybe, you know, watch a bit of pro players demos, and perhaps for movement like jumping around and stuff, play like KZ and all that stuff. I don't know. I don't think like I need to like slow mode. Is that what I need? Okay. This is like I can't keep up with all the questions. C9. So I don't think C9 needs to swap players yet. I think they're one of the teams that had to play a lot and didn't have time to practice and, you know, introduce new things into their game. So as of yet, I don't think so. What team would you love to coach? I don't know, probably a team like a phase before they brought Kerrigan or something like that. I mean, even with Kerrigan, because a team like that has a lot of individual good players but lacks someone to guide them. You know, there's no point in like coaching SK, right? When they have fallen, really. Opinion on the veto system. I think it's like a decent compromise. I hate the randomizer. I like, that's the problem. It doesn't matter like the bans and the whole thing. I just hate the fact that you still had randomizers. You think Astralis can win the major? I think they can. It's so fucking ridiculous because Anders has been like saying that when they were dropping out of groups. It was basically a meme for him, like they're winning the next major, they're winning the next major. And now they're actually good enough to possibly win it, so it's insane. Why don't you join Master? I don't really want to coach at the moment. I like doing desks right now. Is Scott the problem? I don't think so. I think he's been playing better recently. I mean, if he would play even better than he is right now, it would obviously benefit the team. But you know, you have other players taking up space as well. It's totally automatic. So I'm not sure if he had like to take a step back or not. I don't know like the inner workings of the team, but yeah. All right, let's like move this a bit down. 70-year-old can still go pro. Why the fuck not? You have like people 30 years old still playing Taz and they're owning scrubs. Okay, let's like go over the games, see what's gonna happen. G2 Vega Squadron. That has to be G2 because, I mean, honestly, I don't know much about Vega Squadron. I would have given them a chance if it was like Mirage, because that's like a team, a map CS teams can be very good on in general. But, you know, I think that G2 just shouldn't make a mistake of underestimating them or anything. If they don't do that, it should be a pretty straightforward game for them. Godsent Hellraisers, now this is like an interesting one. Because from what the game that I just did with NIP, Hellraisers, I really liked what I saw from Hellraisers, right? They were like really solid. The way they approached, you know, their T side as well was very interesting. The problem is they were playing against a NIP who is a very passive team on the CT side. And Godsent is like probably the opposite of that for most of the time. So I'm not sure how they're gonna fare against each other. I think we could again see a map like Overpass, which would benefit Godsent because they can rewatch the NIP game, or I mean they would have probably rewatched it, and you know they can get they can definitely scan a couple of things from that one. So I don't know. I liked what I saw from Hellraisers more, but I think like the experience from Pronax, JW, Flasha, I think they're actually going to overcome Hellraisers because of that. I think it's like I think Godsent is going to win in the end, but I feel like it's going to be a super close game. Mouse Lu, you guys should probably hold with the questions until I finish all this. I can't like keep up with both. Mouse versus Lu. Yeah, I probably should have rewatched at least like the Cloud9 Lu game to have a better impression on Lu because they sucked against Optic. I mean, they lost like 2 rounds against fucking Glocks on city side of Overpass. And sure, they had a couple of like interesting setup, gimmicky as they're known for, but they were making so many like fundamental mistakes that just feels like unlikely that they can, you know, win after making those types of mistakes. So even though I think Mouse Sports is, you know, not very good at the moment, I still feel like they're better than Lu. So I will go with Mouse on this one. I think Nico will have a sick game. Somehow I'm feeling like this will be one of his games. C9 Renegades, that's the interesting one. Yeah, they played at DreamHack on Dust 2 and Renegades 1, which was like weird because I think Renegades is not very good on Dust 2. But let's say for this game, again, don't know how Cloud9 lost to Lu, so that's a question mark. Like, how good are they actually? I mean, from a team that won the Pro League finals, right? So looking at the maps, it's also possible that they end up on something like Mirage or Cobble. I think Renegades definitely bans Dust 2. Cloud9 vetoes Nuke, of course. Renegades also vetoes Train, I guess. Cloud9 maybe Overpass, something of the sorts. But yeah, I think like it has to be Cloud9's game, mostly because I'm not sure that Renegades can recover from that loss against CLG yesterday. I think they're, you know, feeling pretty bad about that one, as they should. NIP Optic. Now that's an interesting one. Both very strong teams, of course. They can play a number of maps. What was interesting actually, when they played at ESL1 Cologne, the veto process was so smart from NIP because NIP at the time kind of like played all maps or you know, to an extent, basically. But they decided to veto all of the maps that Optic played. Like Cobble, Train, and Mirage were at the moment the 3 maps that Optic played the most. So that way they forced them into a map they know Optic is going to be uncomfortable on. And sure, Dust 2 at the time wasn't NIP's best map, it was Cash. And probably after that, I don't know, even Cobble perhaps, doesn't matter. But they completely crushed them simply because Optic was very uncomfortable. So this time around, Optic has a stronger map pool, and they won't be able to go for the same thing, NIP. So it does feel like they're gonna end up, again, probably something like Cobble or Overpass. I think NIP will get rid of Mirage, Train. Optic has to get rid of Nuke against them. Probably Cash for Optic as well. And all of those maps are I think if we go to Cobble, NIP wins. If we go to Overpass, I think Optic wins. So I think this one is a bit more map dependent than some of the others. What's next? Dignitas CLG. It has to be Dignitas. I mean, the reason CLG won was basically because Renegades started fucking up, and then they got like more confident and started playing better. I think like Dignitas has so many advantages over CLG that it would really be a huge upset for them to beat Dignitas there. And EnVyUs Spirit, well, has to be, I mean, EnVyUs. Has to be EnVyUs because they're even playing with a stand-in. So even though I think EnVyUs is struggling a lot at the moment, that they are, you know, not in a good place as a team either, they still have to be fucking good enough to beat Team Spirit. So yeah, those are like pretty much my predictions for today. I think that Godsent Hellraisers and NIP Optic will be the most unpredictable ones, with the potential upset being Tyloo beating Mouse Sports as well. That's not impossible. So yeah, let's do like a couple of minutes of Q&A and then I have to run. Thoughts on NIP? Yeah, I think they're like a very strong team overall. I think they need more versatility in their game, especially on the CT side, to be able to switch things up and make it more difficult for the T's to, you know, call against them. Opinion on the XI by Power players? I mean, they fucked up, but they're like good players. I think they don't need to be banned forever. Since I didn't ban Mirage against Tyloo, I'm not really sure. What did they go for? They actually decided to give 3 bans. Oh no, who has like the... I don't know who had the higher seed here. I think if it's the same seed, then it's a coin toss. But never mind. I mean, Cloud9 removes Nuke because they have to. And for some reason, Cash. I'm not sure why they removed Cash over Mirage. Maybe they just like feel way stronger. I mean, it's not a problem. You don't always look at your opponents. You look at like... oh, I missed phase. Okay. You look at yourself, right? If you're feeling super confident on a map, you don't care that it's your like opponents, because like they don't consider Tyloo a better team than themselves, right? So why not just play them on that? Why is FaZe not here? Immortals, I don't know. FaZe Immortals, wow, yeah, that's a tricky one as well. I'll just go with FaZe because they had like tougher opponents, and they also seem to be like they seem to be very well prepared for this tournament, in a sense. Like they've been able to, like in the Optic game, because they've been losing to Optic recently, but they were able to adjust after that and still able to beat them, and it actually mattered the most. So they did lose, like this was Cyber Power Masters on Cash, but I mean, there was a lot of close games for them against Immortals. I feel like Immortals are still very like individually oriented on their T side, and I think FaZe should be able to counter that and be prepared for that. So yeah, I'll go with FaZe over Immortals. #1 French team. I don't know. I have no idea like how, if they make the shuffle, how it's actually going to look like, right? Because of like some players don't want to play with others and so forth. Take on the new TSM roster. I don't know. I always felt weird about Shazam, because he's a similar player to like Michael was earlier, right? Very like flashy at times, has like great rounds, but inconsistent, right? Doesn't hit the easy shots all the time, and I always dislike players like Oppers like that. You know, World Edit can be like that as well. I always feel like more than anything else, you need to be solid. Everything else is a bonus, but that's like a necessity. So maybe like in this lineup he can excel and become a better player. But besides that, it's like a pretty decent lineup. Like Sick and Twists, very young, skilled players, Relics as well. So yeah, I think it has potential, and they will all listen to Sean, which is like super important. They will follow him blindly. So he has like the ingredients to be decent. We'll see. But if Legend team gets invited, only 4 teams. I think like you can get, if it's a 16-team tournament, there can be more invites than 4. That's not an issue. Yeah, for 16 teams, Swiss is okay. But I just feel like we need to have best of threes, right? We can't have best of ones anymore, especially at the major itself. Like winning two best of ones and making top 8 and guaranteeing a spot for the next major, I think that's like too easy. It should be made harder than that for teams, because one of the biggest like strengths for a team is how deep their map pool is, and when you play a best of one, you negate that. You could have a team that plays 3 maps, make it top 8 and to the playoffs. I don't think that's fair to the teams that actually play more maps. Boobs or ass, both. Yeah, Astralis can win the next major, why not? Pith or Michaelele, I think both are fine. I mean, perhaps Pith because he's a bit more passive and some of the other players take a lot of space. Hellraisers versus Godsent, I just went over that. I think it's going to be super close. I think Godsent is going to win though, based on experience. Motorbike tour through the Balkans. Oh, that's a tough one. There's so many like good places depending on what your route is going to be or what time of the year. Like both like the mountains, like Zlatibor is like very nice. You should probably like even TripAdvisor has like good shit. There's actually a great video from National Geographic as well. I'm sure you can find it if you Google it, about Serbia, and there you have like locations as well. So if you're like into nature and stuff, you can see some good, I don't know, highlights. Tylo has higher seed. Okay, Snapchat, please no. Dupree, I mean, they all have been playing much better now under Glaive. Seems like they're all more confident, and he's been having some sick games, like in that entry fragger role, just like beasting. Well, a lot of teams keep silent in tactical. I don't think they're silent. I just think that you probably like mistake tactical for technical, because there have been a couple of technical pauses, and I don't think they're allowed actually to talk during technical pauses. Existence, I think he's like a great like mind. I think he's actually a good individual player as well. So yeah, I don't know. I think there's room for him in like a top tier French team. I have no idea. Like, I don't think there's a clear favorite for the major at all. You have like a couple of big contenders: Stralis, VP, Navi, NIP. Even why not? Maybe even Optic. There's so many good teams at the moment. Dignitas. It's like it will depend on like who's better prepared and who plays better on the day. Honestly. What do you think about Thai Nation not going on LAN and losing so fast on qualifier? Um, I think like you will always choose a chance to qualify for a big tournament rather than playing like a small LAN. I mean that's why they made the team, to try and compete like internationally. So I know that they tried to find a solution so they could play both, but it couldn't be done, and they went for the qualifier. English, I don't know. I went like a hell of classes, like when I was going to high school, elementary school, and stuff. I think in the last year it improved a lot because I've been traveling so much and just speaking it all the time. That really helps the most. Tesla, Counter Strike at a point, yeah, it's definitely at a point where everyone can beat anyone. Like, it's been insane. I mean, the best stat is the one about, you know, how many different teams won the last 10 tournaments or whatever. I mean, you don't need anything more than that to prove that point. Spectating that a player did something sketchy. I mean, I don't think so. Nothing that I have like noticed necessarily. Do you think Navi can find their form? I think they can. They didn't have any tournaments in December. They have more time to practice, to get, you know, for C's to get used to his new roles, for them to practice more maps and get better on more maps. So we'll see. I mean, that team has so much firepower. They are going to be a contender. Why don't teams use timeouts in a more BM way? I don't think like people just don't like being BM. I think more teams should use it like nowadays, like in basketball, right? You use it to break the momentum of your opponents. When they have like a good round, you just immediately time out, so you like zone them out a little bit. Do you think C9 will qualify? It's difficult. Like, they need to be a bit lucky with their matchups as well, because you look at it, you have like, you know, EnVyUs is probably going to be 1 and 2. If they win, they're going to be 1 and 2. NIP or Optic are gonna be 1 and 2. So they're gonna have like a very tough matchup, no matter what, you know, most likely. So it's gonna be, they need to get a bit lucky in the matchups in order to make it. I think there's a chance that HR will go to the major. I think there's actually a pretty good chance of them making it. Thoughts on Astralis? I think they're very strong now. They play like good, solid Counter-Strike. The players are playing well individually, so they're definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with at the major. C9, I don't know. I think really C9 is one of those teams, like probably alongside FaZe and Optic, that had like the most tournaments and the least time to practice. So like when you're traveling all the time, you don't have time to reflect and change things. You have to do it while at tournaments, which is obviously not optimal. So yeah, I think it's just that, and you know, people obviously had more time to figure them out and so on. They were a bit unlucky as well. I mean, Oakland was all one day. It was close as well, so what do you think about people roasting Smiths on air? I don't know. I just like, it's their own, like, people can make their own decision how they want to approach that stuff. I personally don't do it. I don't think it's, you know, if you're gonna criticize someone, you have to give context so that you explain to people who are like new to the game, or you know, why was that a bad decision, why is that wrong, what would have been the right decision, and so on. It's always easy, like from the outside, to, you know, see what was the right decision or not, but you need to put yourself in the spot of a player and say, okay, what did he have, could he know what I know? Why I'm not in the major qualifier? I wasn't invited. Do you think we should invest in SK Fox stickers? I don't know how the sticker economy works. I mean, I don't think like the big problem like with Kenny or Envy is like his role or how they use him. I just think that they're having issues as a team, that they're maybe having like some, you know, different opinions of how they should approach the game as well, and all that stuff. Okay, I think that's gonna be it for today, guys. The qualifier is gonna start soon as well, so you can tune into that. maybe, you know, tweet me out if there's like a super interesting game, because I'm probably not going to be able to watch all of it, so that I can, like, you know, pick out the good ones for tomorrow as well. I'm going to run some ads in the end. If you want to stick around for those, feed the poor Serbian. If not, it's fine. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope it was like, it's a little bit better than yesterday. We have a title, we have which game we're playing. You know, I think it was a bit faster than yesterday. We could like go over 3 games instead of 2. So yeah, I'll try and put a bit more thought into it, how we can make it a bit better. It's easier when there's less games. Like if there was like 2 best of 3s or something and I could pick one, it would be easier. But yeah. So okay, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.